next to us, our very, very good friend from BBC Radio London, it's Mark Church.
Good afternoon, Kevin. Good afternoon, everybody. Well, what a lovely day it is, because I looked at the weather forecast last night and I thought, ooh, that doesn't look good. But sun shining. I'm really looking forward to this. I'm really looking forward to this game, because Hampshire, since they came to South London, have turned it around, 5 straight wins. Surrey, of course, yet to be beaten in this competition. I think this should be an absolute cracker today. 2 form sides going head to head, good crowd, and yeah, as I say, I've been really looking forward to this one.
Right, we'll give you the 2 sides. Surrey won the toss, elected to bowl, just to remind you. Surrey sit top of the South Group, played 8. They've won 7 with 1 no result. That was down in Cardiff against Glamorgan. All the others, they have been on the positive side. Hampshire started the competition with 4 defeats, but have picked up somewhat with 5 victories. They're looking to make it 6 on the bounce, but they sit mid-table at the moment. They in 5th with 5 wins from 9 matches. They have 10 points, level on points with Gloucestershire, who are 1 place above them, courtesy of a slightly better run rate. Right, let's give you the 2 sides. And Mark Church, I think you, for the Surrey point of view, let's have your 11.
Yeah, there's a couple of changes in there from the side that played on Friday night and beat Middlesex. So Ollie Pope, obviously centrally contracted, back with England now, and Jordan Clark, I'm not sure whether it's a little injury or he's being rested or not got any information on that, but no Jordan Clark in the 11. Rory Burns comes in for his first T20 game of the summer, and Dan Moriarty, the left-arm spinner, comes in for his second T20 game of the summer. So Surrey will line up something like this. Will Jackson, Jamie Smith to open up. Rory Burns will be at 3 on the card, but might float up, or well, he can't go up, but might float down the order if they get off to a good start. Laurie Evans, Sunil Narine, who we'll talk about throughout the afternoon, I'm sure. Certain Kyron Pollard, of course, as well for Surrey. Then Chris Jordan, Jamie Overton, Gus Atkinson, Dan Worrell and Dan Moriarty.
So that's how Surrey line up. Hampshire, not surprisingly, are the same side that beat Kent quite convincingly here on Friday night. They are then James Vince, who made 100 on Friday's 3rd T20 100. Ben McDermott, the Australian, drew some runs. Tom Prest, the 19-year-old, got a fabulous half-century Friday night, got the innings going along with Vince. It was a slow start, but it grew as it went on. Joe Weatherly comes in at 4, then Ross Whiteley, Toby Albert, another youngster, 20-year-old, who's done well since he's come into the side. James Fuller, the all-rounder. Liam Dawson, the left-arm spinner. Nathan Ellis, the Australian seam bowling all-rounder, who's back in the side after missing 3 games through injury. Looked good again on Friday. Actually bowled well when Hampshire got a trouncing at the Oval. His 4 overs went for 26. Everybody else went round the park. He only went for 26, so he's a very, very important member of the bowling lineup for Hampshire. Good news that he's there. And Chris Wood, Hampshire's top wicket taker in this competition. And Mason Crane, the leg spinner, who's not quite reaching the heights that he would expect, but he's a leg spinner, and if he gets it right, they're always dangerous in T20 cricket.
Very much so, and Mason Crane is a hugely talented bowler as well. So Nathan Ellis was really impressive in that game back in South London. You know, in amongst the carnage and chaos, he came out with brilliant figures. But as I say, really from there, lost the first 4, Hampshire, and then are on this run of 5 straight wins now.
Yeah.
So I think for Surrey, this will be an interesting test this afternoon, because they're still a good side, Surrey, a very good side, ton of experience in there as well, but they're coming up against a Hampshire side that are in form, and there's a certain Mr. Vince at the top of the order coming off the back of 100, who, well, they'll want him early, because if he gets in, I'll enjoy it, because he's a beautiful player to watch. But Surrey's sort of game plan would have been McDermott and Vince, can we get rid of them as early as we can, please? What will be fascinating again will be the way that Hampshire, and it's the Narine factor, and I talked about this on Friday night, J-Mo, and you'll know far more about this, what happens in team talks, but I'm absolutely convinced that every team talk starts against Surrey with, right, how are we going about Narine? Because the problem you have is, if you wait just to knock him around, he's not going to go for runs and he's going to get you a couple of wickets. If you try and get your runs in up top before he didn't come on till the 9th over on Friday night. Now the problem there is you could find yourselves 3 or 4 down going for it at the top to use that power play until he comes around the corner. So I think this will be very interesting in the fact that my other theory in all of this is franchise cricket these days. Those 2 fellas at the top for Hampshire have both played franchise cricket. Now they'll have come across Narine, that they'll know what that's about. I think absolutely key, really, from a Hampshire point of view, batting first, that either McDermott or Vince are there when Narine comes into the attack. Because the other thing that Surrey have is that variety of Chris Jordan as well has been using himself really cleverly, sort of coming in the middle. If needed, I'll come in and bowl a middle over and then bowl the 2 at the back end. So, but I think they're brilliant players anyway. But I think McDermott and Vince, with the Narine factor, you want one of those 2 still there when Narine comes on to bowl, because they've got experience of franchise cricket.
Yeah, you're right. Narine, I was just looking up his, I mean, for a spinner, his economy rate this year, in this season, is just over 5 and over, which is actually half Mason Crane's.
What I liked about Friday night was young Jack Davis came out with a plan. He came out with a plan for Narine, reverse swept him first ball and played cross batted shots. Now, he got him eventually, but he came out with a plan to play Narine. And I think you've got to, really. Otherwise, A, you won't score many runs off him, and B, he's going to get you at some point. He really is. And the other thing I've noticed with Narine is he gets wickets for the bloke at the other end. Yeah. Up top, Surrey at times have had sides 3 or 4 down. I'm absolutely convinced, A, they're very good bowlers up top, but B, I'm absolutely convinced in the back of players' minds is, right, got to get some runs in the bank now before Narine comes on to bowl, because he hasn't gone for over 30 in his 4 overs, and he doesn't go for many boundaries either. That's the other thing with him. So yeah, it's an interesting factor, that the Narine factor is a really big one.
It certainly is, yeah, and we can't emphasise that enough. I mean, not only is his economy rate is just under 5.5, it's not bad, is it, for a spinner? The West Indian strike rate, 165 runs, is at 173. He's a dangerous player all round. This is a good crowd, and there's Harry the Hawk coming round. And his little Jeep. We love this.
It's like the Pope.
Look at it. Well, he laps it up. He's coming just below us. He'll give you a proper wave, Emily, because Melissa on Friday night got a special blown kiss from Harry the Hawk. So if you lean over the top, Emily, he'll give you an extra special wave.
This is
Can
nice.
he see you?
No,
he's not looked up.
When
Emily,
did Harry get his own Jeep? This season, is it? It's a nice Jeep, isn't it?
It's probably sponsored.
It's a lovely Jeep.
But he is the most vain hawk.
Is he?
Ever. Yeah, he loves it. He'll disappear hopefully down the tunnel on this lap. Anyway, it is a good crowd. It's not far off, I have to say, Friday night's crowd, which we thought was around 7, maybe even 8. And there's the announcement for the Surrey players coming out onto the playing area. The 2 umpires leading them out are Billy Taylor and Alex Wharf. I spoke to Alex Wharf, got in the lift with him a little bit earlier.
Managed to fit in with him, did you? He's a big fella,
boy
these
days, isn't he? Former Yorkshire seamer, Alex Wharf, but he's got a good reputation. They're leading the players out with Surrey in their familiar turquoise tops and dark blue trousers. There's also a banana or something at the far end. That's a
star, because the All-Stars are here. No, the All-Stars.
Oh, of course, the All-Stars.
Yeah. So that's a star.
Yes,
there,
thank you.
In the distance.
You said when we were having a bit of food, your eyes weren't very good, and yet you've just spotted that from about 200 yards away.
Well, it is massive, and also it's bigger than a player because it's a massive star. And even I can spot the shape of a star. Even with my bad eyesight, Kevin James, I still know what a star looks like. So that is definitely a star.
Well, that's good to have it confirmed. Thank you very much. So here we go then. Surrey players out there in the middle, and Ben McDermott and James Vince. Familiar opening pairing in this year's T20 competition. Ben McDermott, the Australian, scored the most runs in the Big Bash during the winter, 557 for the Hobart Hurricanes, striking at 150. And he's had a bit of a mixed tournament so far. He is due a score because his last... Ben McDermott's last 4 innings for Hampshire have all been single figures, and before that, 83 against Middlesex. and a 60 against Sussex. So his last 3 innings have been single-figure scores. So, and these two, during this group stages, have set a Hampshire opening partnership record, consecutive games running. So anything near that, which is, I think off the top of my head, 126 and then 124 and then 128 or something like that. I did write that down earlier, but I just can't find it. So we're just about to get underway. Good crowd here at the Ageas. Sunday afternoon, Father's Day. Nice day out.
Happy Father's Day, Jamie.
And you. Happy Father's Day.
Thank you. Not that we're related or anything, everybody.
Good day out for the dads.
Oh, lovely day out.
And we are just about to get underway, and it's going to be Daniel Moriarty with his left arm spin, bowls to Vince, and off the back foot pushes that up to deep mid-off, and that gets a good round of applause. If that shot gets a round of applause, my gosh, there's going to be some raw hands this evening.
Standing ovation for a single. Imagine what will happen if there's a 6. Interesting, this is Moriarty's first bowl this season in the competition, because he played the game at Cardiff that got rained off. So he's being given the first over up top, get him in the game.
Not a bad economy rate in this competition overall, 6.7. Again, for a spinner's not bad. McDermott works that away wider mid-on. Is there a loud applause for that? Not quite as much.
No, he's not. His singles aren't quite as popular as James Vince's.
No.
Ben McDermott, there on the old clapometer. But that's great. There's a good atmosphere in the ground already.
Yeah, terrific crowd. Yeah, Vince has 370 runs now this season, averaging 52. Faces Moriarty, and he sweeps and he's found the gap. There are 2 men up on the 30-yard circle behind square on the leg side, and Vince bisected them perfectly.
Well, even if you didn't look at his figures, you'd see that shot and think James Vince is in form in the fact that he's just hit the gap. Straight away, 2 men behind square on that leg side, and James Vince has just hit the gap, which is what the really good players do. They don't often hit fielders. And nicely played by James Vince and away for the first boundary of the game.
We're on the same wicket as Friday night as well. It's a hybrid wicket, a mixture of normal grass and plastic grass. Vince comes down the track and he hits it just over mid-on. Oh, and that was very nearly caught. Who's that up there? Pollard? Chris Jordan.
Who is a brilliant fielder. If anyone's going to pull that catch off, it's Chris Jordan, and he got pretty close to it because he didn't get hold of that at all, James Vince. And Chris Jordan hung in the air on the edge of the circle at mid-on, and sort of that reverse hand. As I say, if anyone's going to pull that off, it's Chris Jordan. I think he got fingers to it.
He did, yeah. His glasses fell off at the same time. His glasses look all right. He's just looking at his fingers. 10 without loss then in the first over. Moriarty bowls, and Vince gives himself some room. Can't quite find the gap. Wants a single, sent back by McDermott as it's fielded at backward point by Laurie Evans.
Yeah, nice positive start this, though, from Hampshire against Dan Moriarty. Such a big opening to this for Hampshire.
They certainly are. 10 without loss. They're going much quicker than they were Friday night. That's a cutaway by Vince. That's straight to Rory Burns in the covers. And that is no run. So 1 over gone. Hampshire 10 without loss. Vince has 9 and McDermott has just a single.
Thank you to Alex back in South London. He's let me know that Jordan Clark is being rested for this one. I thought that was probably the case. He's played an awful lot of cricket this season, Jordan Clark. But we do have an Overton out there. And of course, Jay Overton will be heading up the old M1 to Headingley this week. And we'll keep our fingers crossed for him that he probably will make a test debut, which would be fantastic because he's been bowling very, very quickly in the championship. So it's going to be Dan Worrell below us to bowl the second over from this hotel end. He'll have a slip in there, which is Overton. Big old boundaries here, not the full boundaries, but they're still pretty big. And there's a deep backward square as one of the 2 out, third as well. Backward point, cover, Iron Pollard in there at extra cover. Mid-off, mid-on, fine leg on the edge of the circle. Worrell, right arm over the wicket to McDermott. Good afternoon. Ben McDermott, back of a length has climbed on him, hit the glove. Now that's interesting because that did take off. McDermott's played that really well. And that rolls down towards Rory Burns, who does the fielding, and there's no run. But that spat at Ben McDermott.
Well, he hits the deck, Dan Worrell, doesn't he? He bowls a heavy ball. We did see on Friday night here with the new ball that it did bounce a bit. Hampshire made a slow start. They didn't go too silly. And they had 20 off the first 5.
Over the wicket comes Worrell. Short one. Hello. This is going to be fun because, again, that has climbed. And unsurprisingly, McDermott has just looked towards square leg umpire Billy Taylor. Alex Wharf, apologies, down there at square leg. But this will be fun because I'm just thinking when Overton comes on, he mustn't get too excited, Jamie Overton, otherwise he might have 6 byes. But there's a bit of bounce, and this is what you said before the game started.
This,
so very exciting this. Hampshire 10 without loss. As Dan Worrell in the second over comes right arm over the wicket to McDermott, short again. Jamie Smith it's almost like he's on a trampoline there, and looking to pull that was McDermott, but again he's really got nowhere near that, and off his feet goes Jamie Smith to take that above his right shoulder.
It's been a feature, the championship game here as well against Yorkshire, it went through.
Good.
It's been a feature as well. I did hear on the grapevine that the Kent players did say they were surprised about how much this wicket bounced on Friday. They weren't not really used to it, mind you. If you play at Canterbury, you wouldn't be used to it, you? Playing everything stump high.
As over the wicket comes Worrell. This is cut by McDermott, short and wide, and he's a slower one, I think that was, from Worrell. Didn't quite get it right, and McDermott waited and then slammed it through the covers for 4. And there'll be a slight delay here because Laurie Evans got to run all the way back to the stand to get the ball, but nicely played by McDermott. His first boundary, he moves on to 5. And Hampshire Hawks move on to 14 without loss, but I think it was a slower one there from Dan Worrell, and McDermott just spotted it, waited, and then, as I say, hammered it away through the cover. So slip comes out. Jamie Overton will now go to the edge of the circle at mid-wicket as Worrell once again runs away from us, comes over the wicket to the right-handed McDermott, beautifully bowled by Dan Worrell. Just a bit of shape away, bit of bounce, goodish length. McDermott's played at that, and that's gone past his outside edge and taken by Jamie Smith.
You know, it's so nice to see a wicket go through like this, isn't it, really? I know Simon the groundsman's really making some real efforts now to get some pace in these pitches and a little bounce as well, and I think we're really starting to see it. And it makes for better cricket, or it will do. I mean, throughout these 40 overs, as we saw against Kent, if batters get in, they'll love it.
Over the wicket again comes Worrell, and McDermott's forward, pushes this one out towards cover point, and there's no run. Good over that from Dan Worrell first up. Interesting over. A boundary from it. 2 gone then. And Hampshire Hawks stuck in by Surrey are 14 without loss.
Yeah, 6 wickets for Dan Worrell this season. Of course, played against Hampshire for Gloucestershire last year before Surrey do what they do, and anybody that looks half decent, they just nab them. Including Emily Windsor for the Oval Invincible.
I was delighted.
Shouldn't have missed.
Just been talking about that. Get yourself down to South London, Emily Windsor.
They all end up there, don't they, if they're half decent.
She's going to love it. Going to love the Oval Invincibles. Love London life. Very exciting.
Gus Atkinson, the 24-year-old right-arm medium fast bowler, is coming into the attack now for Surrey, taking over from the left-arm spin of Moriarty. His first over went for 10. Here's Atkinson. He's got a slip in as Vince drives on the up, but only as far as Pollard in the covers, who didn't actually take it cleanly. And there's no run.
He played on Friday night. 2 overs, no maidens, 1 for 19 for Gus Atkinson. Been very good in the championship this season. Can bat as well, Gus Atkinson. Yes, Mr. Pollard will just sort of revolve in that extra cover region.
Yeah.
Doesn't really go elsewhere.
Revolve.
Just revolves in there.
From the pavilion then Atkinson again. Vince pulls that away through mid-wicket. That is 4. Only just short. But Vince is seeing it like a football after Friday. And that has been hammered through mid-wicket. And that has gone over the rope. No doubt about that. 18 without loss.
It wasn't that short, but he just stood on the front foot. And as I say, if you hadn't seen his figures this season, just from that shot and the little sweep down towards fine leg, he's in form here, James Vince. This will be fun. This will be fun.
You're talking him out, aren't you, really? I can tell.
No, I'd love to see him make runs because he's just great to watch.
Here's Atkinson again, 18 without loss. As Vince, he plays and misses there. That's a bit of bounce. You'll get that a bit with the new ball. And Vince on the back foot trying to hammer that away on the offside. It just bounced on him. Luckily for him, it didn't catch the outside edge.
Yeah, the interesting thing with Gus Atkinson is he's one of those that's quicker than he looks. He's got a wicked bouncer on him. He really has. But the thing about Gus is he looks exactly the same whether he's just bowled the best ball ever or been hit for 6. He just wanders back, turns around and runs in again.
Playing just his 19th match in the T20 competition. Slightly slower ball. Vince drives that just wide of mid-wicket. They'll jog, well, they did a bit more than jog through for a single, but a single it is. 19 without loss, and that brings Ben McDermott back on strike. 251 runs plus the 5 this afternoon. 256 runs, he's striking at 151, about the same strike rate that he did for the Big Bash competition with the Hobart Hurricanes during the winter. I'm only mentioning strike rates because Emily Windsor's pulling me up on strike rates.
Oh, right.
Yeah, she says, I can tell that you always mention them now. Yeah, I'm getting quite dull. Now he cuts that away. It's in the air. This could be caught a third man. And that is just about caught. And in the end, down there, who's caught that?
Dan Moriarty.
Dan Moriarty. That's just died on him a little bit. The extra bounce and pace there as McDermott tried to thrash that away on the offside. The top edge made it carry all the way down to the boundary. And Moriarty, I thought that looked a simple catch. He actually made it look a little harder than perhaps it was. In the end, he had to fall forward to take it. McDermott goes for 5, another single-figure score for him. The Hawks are 19 for 1. Yeah,
most important thing was Dan Moriarty hung on to it, but as I say, I thought it was going straight down Dan Moriarty's throat, but he did the most important thing. He hung on to the ball, and that's a big wicket for Surrey, because I'm still convinced here. I was saying McDermott or Vince has to be in when Narine comes on. McDermott's now gone, so it's Mr. Vince now, and yeah, again that shows the pace of this pitch as well, because I think it was more outside edge rather than uppercut, wasn't it? I think if he'd gone full in uppercut, that's probably what he's thinking when he walks back. If he'd gone full in on that, that would have gone into the crowd for 6, I think. He gave it a lot, but I think it was more off the top edge.
Yeah. So Tom Prest, the number 3 for Hampshire, just 19 years of age, 52 off 37 balls on Friday night here. And faces his first ball. That's a length ball, and that's pushed to Rory Burns backward a point, and that will be the end of the over. Hampshire 19 for 1 then, and we've had 3 overs here at the Ageas.
Yeah, tidy start this from Surrey, and Dan Worrell it will be to bowl the 4th over. I'm enjoying the music. It's very good mix of tunes.
Is it better than the Oval? Is it better than the Oval music?
Do you know, the only thing I noticed was that Sweet Caroline had to come on quite early the other night. On Friday night back in South London. Most of these tunes I don't recognise, to be honest with you. So
we're a bit more up to date down here.
Oh yes, well this is obviously
a bit more with it.
This is a modern tune, I would have thought. This is probably being played in the nightclubs of Southampton. Emily Windsor will know this song. This will be one of the. I've never heard this song before, but it's a very catchy tune. Not quite sure what the lyrics are, but very catchy. Dan Worrell then, coming in over the wicket to James Vince, and Vince shot round through backward point, and it's actually got through Will Jacks. This could run away for 4, it will. Jacks will be annoyed with that. Yep, hands on his head, because Surrey are priding themselves on their fielding in the T20 this season. Just got underneath him, but again it was beautifully timed by James Vince. He's on to 18, and the Hampshire Hawks 23 for 1.
It's the sort of wicket where you use the pace, don't you really? Hard ball, it's coming off quickly, bit of bounce there, and as it comes out of the middle of the bat, the ball is always running to the rope.
Kept the slip in there as Worrell, as over the wicket he comes to Vince, and Vince just opens the face, guides this one down towards 3rd. There is Dan Moriarty to do the fielding. He took the catch to get rid of Ben McDermott. If you're joining us here on BBC Radio Solent, BBC Radio London, the Hampshire live stream, BBC Sport website, the BBC app, wherever else, and Ben McDermott, the man to have gone stuck in Surrey, sticking. Shall I try that again? Sticking yes. Hampshire in. So that could have all gone horribly. Well, that could have been me done for the afternoon, couldn't it? And Hampshire are 24 for 1 as Worrell comes in over the wicket to Prest, swings that one back. Prest is forward, pushes away out towards Kyron Pollard, who does the fielding in there at extra cover. Actually, talking about this pitch with a bit of pace and a bit of bounce, it's ready-made for James Vince. This is the sort of pitch he likes, James Vince. Bit of pace on it coming onto the bat.
You'd hope so.
Haven't seen the Vince just pushing languidly forward and just driving through the covers as yet. As in over the wicket comes Worrell. And Prest looks to run that down to 3rd, but it bounces on him. There's that bounce again. He has got wonderful skills, Dan Worrell, and that was taken by Jamie Smith off his feet, moving away to his right-hand side. But he's been hugely impressive since he's come to Surrey. Oh, he's outstanding bowler.
Gloucestershire bowled him into the ground last year because he was such a good bowler. I mean, he just bowled and bowled and bowled. We played him early season here. He was about a yard down by the time we played him later in the season.
Worrell's in again to Prest, and Prest looking to work leg side, gets onto him quickly, goes off a thickish leading edge, rolls down towards Rory Burns at backward point, and there is no run. Crowd's just gone a little bit quiet now, because after that wicket of Ben McDermott, just gone a little bit quiet at the moment. No doubt though the music, we had a band as well, didn't we, beforehand, which was rather good. Yeah, I enjoyed that. As in over the wicket comes Worrell once more. Oh, and Prest backs away and looks to cut, and again it beats the edge, and taken by Smith away to his right hand side. End of the over, 4 gone, and the Hampshire Hawks 24 for 1. James Vince is on 19, and Tom Prest is yet to get off the mark.
Yeah, at the moment there's a little bit of extra bounce out there, so it's just catching out the batters a little bit, trying to thrash it away, give themselves some room, and we've seen both players play and miss at the moment. And great carry as a bowler when you're bowling, seam bowling. You love seeing the ball go through to the keeper the way it is at the moment. Keeper Jamie Smith is probably standing a few yards further back than he would do to most of these bowlers in normal conditions. Here's Atkinson again, then bowls. Vince catches. Oh, he's dropped at backward point. Rory Burns straight in, straight out.
Ooh, now how big's that going to be? He was travelling, and just to rub it in.
Don't get that at the Oval.
Love it, love it. But Rory Burns there, I thought he had it. Sort of into his mid-drift, and it just potted out. So that could be a big moment. James Vince has a life on 19.
Well, again, because of the bounce, you see, it's difficult to keep the ball down. That's why it's flying in the air a little bit. Here's Atkinson again. Vince quietly, doesn't quite know where the ball is, actually, as he plays it out on the onside, and Atkinson fields on his follow-through. Yeah,
Rory Burns didn't have to move. It sort of hit him amidships, and then you just saw the ball come out. So that is a life for James Vince. Can't afford to drop him too many times, James Vince, in this sort of form.
No.
He's 19 for 1, James Vince.
Here's Atkinson then, right arm over from the pavilion end once more. And bowls, it's full, he swings, he gets an inside edge, and that's gone down to fine leg for 4.
Ooh. Well, length delivery, he's tried to launch that off towards the nursery ground, hasn't he, James Vince? But bottom edge, he won't mind. Flies away past his leg stump, over the boundary rope and away for 4. And Vince, well, we said he was important. He's doing all the scoring. 23 out of 28 for James Vince.
He's playing a little bit more carefree than he did on Friday when he got his 100. Hampshire scored 201 off the last 15 overs.
Wow.
Quite a quiet power play. Certainly the first 5 overs. They were getting used to this hybrid pitch that has a little bit more pace and bounce. Vince is playing a few more shots than he did earlier. That's full again, and that's worked along the ground out to mid-wicket. There is a fielder out there now. And the throw comes in to keeper Jamie Smith, and Hampshire move on to 29 for 1, Vince on to 24.
The other thing I would say with this pitch, and I'm sorry to go on about him again, but Narine will enjoy a bit of bounce as well. Yeah. He really will enjoy a bit of bounce.
I hope he goes for 100.
Well, if he does, I will honestly go and shake the batter's hand that takes Narine down.
Great.
Because they have to be a good player.
No problem, I'll show you the way. Prest comes down the wicket, hits it over the covers, and that's going out to the boundary for 4. Used his feet well there, the teenager, who is in good form. 52 off 37 balls on Friday night, put on 128 in 12 overs with Vince. He's not shy of playing a few shots either.
Great shot, lovely use of the feet. Just got himself outside the leg stump, and then hit it very, very powerfully away through the covers for 4.
9 off the last 3 balls. Hampshire 33 for 1. Press facing. He's on 4. That was his opening gambit, and he pulled that away in the air. It should be safe. Is it just short of square leg? No. Yes, just. I thought that was going to carry in the end. And the fielder out there, that is who's that out
Will
there?
Jacks.
Will
out
Jacks,
there.
yeah. Will Jacks.
Made a valiant effort to get to it, didn't he?
Again, I thought he might have had it.
Yeah, I think it just bounced in front of him. I think if you see the replay again, I think it just bounced in front of him as he dived forward. But good effort to get to it. End of the over, 5 gone. A few words from Kevin James, and then he'll be joined by Emily Windsor.
So Vince 24 off 15, Prest 6 off 7. Ben McDermott, the one man out for Hampshire, who lost the toss and had been asked to bat first. McDermott caught by Moriarty down at third man cutting at Gus Atkinson for 5. That was off 8 balls. Welcome, Emily.
What a start. Pace, bounce.
There is.
Aggressive batsman.
Here's Worrell, bowls to Vince on the leg stump, and it's wrapped him on the pad as it goes out on the 45. That will be a leg bye, signalled by umpire Billy Taylor, formerly of Hampshire, Sussex. 35 for 1 Hampshire.
Yeah, it's been a really exciting start, hasn't it? And I think Surrey probably disappointed with their fielding. Obviously dropping James Vince when he's in that form, he's going to make them pay, and I'm sure of that. And from a Hampshire point of view, they will want to see him make him pay, and potentially that could have been a chance there in the last over for Tom Prest to dismiss him as well, who again is in good form, getting a half century in the last game. So Surrey need to sharpen up in the field.
Here's Worrell, runs away from us and bowls. Prest works that leg ball on the leg side towards Jamie Overton at mid-wicket. They'll come through for a single.
Interestingly, Kev, I wanted your opinion on this. I listened to the interview post-match of the last game with James Vince about how they were saying they were sort of measured in the power play, and then obviously they went on later, didn't they? And we're not seeing that today. Do we think that's a fair thing with Surrey? They feel like they're unbeaten, they need a bigger total, so they've got to make use of this power play? Well,
I don't think we've played very well against Surrey for some reason, and I'm talking about championship as much as anything. And certainly up at the Oval, length ball, which Vince quietly plays on the onside. They'll get a quick single as it goes to Atkinson at mid-on, 39 for 1. I think there is a fear factor when we go up to the Oval, for sure, the way we played in the T20 and the Championship this year, for example. We just haven't looked a side that, when you look at the table in both these competitions, that Hampshire actually are. I'm just wondering, maybe here there's a conscious effort. Look, we're at home. We've got the advantage being at home. Yes, 5 wins on the trot certainly helps it. Of course it does. Here's Worrell. Comes in again and bowls to Prest. Prest cuts that away on the offside. Doesn't quite get hold of that. I think there was a bit of glove on that as much as pad, but they'll get a single. 39 for 1. Prest moves on to 8. But they are definitely playing more positively, you're right, tonight. I'm just wondering, because this is a new hybrid wicket, they've just moved one across to the right. Friday night, maybe a slightly unknown surface, batting first. Now they know it. Maybe they know, maybe they're sort of playing because they've already played on it. There might be a little bit of that as well. But they are definitely more positive in this power play. Worrell bowls, and it's turned away by Vince on the leg side along the ground. That'll be a single. He moves on to 26, 40 for 1. 1 ball left of the power play.
I said this though, Kevin, this over's been really measured, I'd say, from both Prest and Vince. Just manipulating the field. They've not gone after that big one that they did a couple of overs ago, and I think it's weighing it up, isn't it? We know wickets in hand from a Hampshire point of view. They've got that middle order with firepower that can go in the end, but we saw early in the season when they had those losses, they were in too early and they had too much to do.
Yeah. Here's Worrell then, last ball of the power play, and that's flipped away, and it falls just short of Chris Jordan on the 45. I think that's Chris Jordan there. And that'll be a single.
That's Narine.
Narine, sorry.
Chris Jordan, one of the best fielders, down at short fine leg. I don't think so.
Maybe you could direct the team from there. You're right, I was close enough there.
Yeah.
41 for 1 at the end of that power play.
So that was a lot better, than the power play here in the last game.
Yeah, Hampshire scored 32 in that power play against Kent, but still went on to score 221. So it just shows, doesn't it, really? You don't need to go at it straight away. You can build it up.
Now this is what I'm looking forward to, Kev, seeing Jamie Overton with ball in hand. I think all on social media, everyone saw how fast he was bowling down at Somerset. Hit his brother on the head.
Great photo, wasn't it?
I think he hit 2 people on the head and knocked them out for concussion. So with pace and bounce in this pitch, what's going to happen here is Overton in. That is quick. That's hit. Uppercut in the air. Cry of catch it. The fielder won't get round, and that's 4 runs. Fantastic shot from Prest, just getting leg side of the ball and helping it over backward point. He moves to 13 now off 11. 45 for 1.
Well, that is a length that we know Jamie Overton's going to bowl. He needs to pitch it up a little bit further, but I think the field needs to reflect that as well. I know they've got a deep cover point, but I would actually have that cover point behind square a little bit more. So I think a lot of balls are going to go in the air, don't you, behind in that area, away to our right?
Getting on top of it's going to be tough as Overton in again, bowls down the leg side this time. The umpire stretches his arms, wide ball. And we've actually seen Hampshire here, the field that they've played, as particularly when Nathan Ellis was bowling, who's probably one of the quickest bowlers in the Hampshire attack. They've actually had a deep backward point, haven't they, as opposed to that deep cover. And actually here at the Ageas Bowl, they talk about the 4 corners. Obviously it's not a square, it's a circle, but if you imagine it's a square, the ball races away and score a lot of runs there. There's Overton into Prest again, short, pulled away into the leg side, fielder there. Rory Burns takes the catch. Press picked him out straight on the boundary rope, and he's gone for 14. And Jamie Overton, using that extra bounce, picks up his first wicket. 46 for 2, Hampshire.
Well, again, isn't it, staying on top of the bounce is going to be the most difficult thing. If you're not, then you've got to hit it out the ground, because otherwise the ball's going to travel in the air. Now, OK, that's behind square on the leg side, but I just think we're going to see a lot of that, especially off Overton. Offside, leg side, the ball's going to be in the air, unless you get right underneath it and really go through the line. He's just helped that on the leg side, really. Hasn't really tried to hit it too hard.
It's pretty hard, though, and I guess the ball's coming at you quicker to have that control element, to even have the time. It's almost a reaction type shot when someone's running in with that pace. But unfortunately for Prest, he couldn't have picked out Rory Burns any better on the boundary, and he's gone.
Probably feels a bit unlucky, actually, after watching Burns drop James Vince a few overs earlier on 19. Probably thought he picked out the right man in the field.
A player of Rory Burns' class is not going to drop many, that's for sure. But credit to him, cool, calm and collected under that one. Didn't have too much time to react, to be honest with you, as it flew off Prest's back. But Joe Weatherly comes to the crease, number 5 on his back, gardening the pitch. Almost halfway down, as he thinks that's where Overton's going to be pitching it. But Overton's there. He's ready from the pavilion end at the Ageas Bowl. Bowls, and that's a foot-length delivery played back down the pitch to Overton.
Weatherly's just missed us the one group game. That was against Sussex here on double-header day, which the Vipers were involved earlier in the afternoon. Other than that, 178 runs.
What's his strike rate? Come on, tell me, Kev.
Strike rate 141, which is slightly above his career, so he's having a decent season. Yeah,
I'm sure that slog sweep will come out, but I'm not sure it will against Jamie Overton. As he bowls, that's played into the onside. They come through for a quick single. He's off the mark, 47 for 2.
It'll be a hell of a shot if he gets that out against this guy. That will be a shot and a half.
To be brave enough to do that.
It's a difficult shot, isn't it, really? I mean, I'm not sure many players would play that without helmets.
No, absolutely not. And, well, I think anyway, if it hits you anywhere else below that's not padded, between sort of your thigh pad and up. But he plays it well, and he hits most of them as Overton in again. That's guided down to third man. The pace of the ball takes it for 4. And that shows you how quickly he's bowling. There is a third man down there. But that's Hampshire's 50 up in the 7th over.
Wow, I mean, I'm not sure what Vince was trying to do there. I'm not even sure he was. But the bounce from just short of a length was incredible. And the pace as well. It is a fast bowler's delight, isn't it? This pitch, you know, Jamie Overton's is the most extreme end of that, really. I mean, his face will light up when he sees the ball thudding into the keeper's gloves. Third
man just has come finer as Overton in again. That's racked him on the pad there. Appealing given. James Vince, LBW to Jamie Overton. He surprised them with that fuller delivery. And Overton picks up the big man of James Vince. 30 off 19. 51 for 3 now. Massive over that for Surrey. Yeah,
it looked out, didn't it? We are just slightly off centre in our commentary position on the camera gantry at the hotel at the northern end. But if you're watching on the live picture feed, watching intently, I'm sure your first thought was a bit like me, really, that that looked out. He's playing across that one, as Emily says, a full delivery as well. That's not bouncing over the stumps where it's pitched. That's a good piece of bowling. Overton has generally banged the ball into the surface, and that probably is about as full a ball as he's bowled.
For me, this is a big test now for Toby Albert. He's played some fantastic knocks, but in a supporting role back end, and Hampshire have got a platform on the board since he's come into this side, but he's got a lot of overs to bat here. 13 overs remain, and this will be a test for him, that's for sure, especially when the experience of Sunil Narine coming in from the hotel end.
Yeah, well, Mark Church has been talking him up, and quite rightly. His 414th T20 game this afternoon. That is a lot of experience, and 51 of those have been internationals for West Indies. Comes in, and that's a reverse swept there by Weatherly. Wants a single, no, says Albert, as that goes out on the 45 on the offside.
You picking that, Kev? What's coming out the hand?
I know, and he holds the ball behind him as well.
He's showing you as he runs up.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll let you call it.
It's your end, Kev. I couldn't possibly take the limelight from you.
He's down as an off spinner, but he's got a few tricks up his sleeve. But he holds it behind him and bowls it very late. Swept from straight. It's gone on the 45 on the leg side this time. And Albert does call Weatherly through. And Weatherly is on to 2, and it's 52 for 3 in the 8th.
I wonder with this type of bowler as well if sweep's going to be an option, especially for Weatherly, who plays it so well, because it doesn't matter which way it's turning. As a batter, when you're facing spin, if you sweep it, it doesn't matter, whereas otherwise if you're going straight, you've got to pick it.
Yeah, that's for sure. We didn't see a lot of turn here on Friday. Mason Crane might have just got the ball to hold in the pitch, but there wasn't a lot. That's down on leg stump, and that's turned away by Albert, and he will be off the mark, the 20-year-old. 53 for 3 now. Hampshire halfway through. Over number 8, having lost the toss and been asked to bat first here.
I just love the way as well he creeps in with the ball behind him and just sort of, it's really like a guessing game, isn't it, as a batter? I think that would really put me off with that ball behind him.
It's clever stuff, isn't it? That's swept in the air but safe as it goes behind square on the leg side. Sometimes it's the best way to play these spinners. You remember Mattia Muralitharan, I mean, nobody could play that guy from start to finish, but the ones that had more success against him actually did sweep and reverse sweep him to death. Very rarely played straight.
Could you sweep Shane Warne? He turned it.
Well, he did, yeah. Well, I mean, it's very difficult, isn't it? But you have to find a way. You can't let these guys bowl, as that's turned behind square on the offside by Albert for a single. You know, it's very difficult. Some spinners you can hit down the ground and it seems easy, doesn't it? You will know when you play for the Vipers, you know. And yet other spinners, you don't trust yourself so much. And
it is those spinners that can turn the ball both ways. I think Wellington, Amanda Wellington, who played for Southern Brave down here, is one who has a fantastic googly. It's
played late by Weatherly off the pitch, actually, as it goes out into the covers. Fielded by Pollard, more with his boot than his hand. 8 overs gone, 55 for 3. 3 to Weatherly, 2 to Albert.
Yeah, those bowlers that have that googly or turn it the other way, and obviously Narine has the skills to do that. As a batter, you're always second guessing yourself. You've really got to watch it out of the hand, because if often when you're hitting down the ground, you use your feet, you get to the ball. If it's turning past your bat or it's gone and you've read it slightly wrong, that's you stumped. So it really is, I think, an important weapon for spinners to have that variation. Even off spinners, they don't necessarily turn it both ways, but they have that quicker one or the one that darts in. And I think that's what makes spinners so effective in this format. I think when the shorter format first came about, everyone thought it'd be a pace bowler's game, spinners would be smashed out of the attack, where actually I'd say almost now it's the other way around. Those spinners can really win you games of cricket. And look at Rashid for England, one of the best white ball bowlers in the world. Googlies, leg spin.
If you're not picking it, it's hard work, isn't it?
So Overton in again, bowls. He's tried to guide that down to third man. Play and miss. It's a slip in play. A really fine third man waiting there for the catch. Dan Marathi has already caught one down there already today.
There wouldn't be too many T20 games that you see a slip in the 9th over. That gives you an indication of the pace and the bounce on this pitch.
Full of confidence as well. Jamie Overton got his test call up. He's in that test squad for Headingley this week. There's Overton in bowls, and he's tried to again guide that to over the offside, getting out the line of the ball, and misses. That's Toby Albert, 2 off 4.
And it's very rare that you see balls thudding through to the keeper's gloves and the batter's almost beaten for pace. I mean, he's given himself some room there, but extra bounce, pace there, and Albert's just not that close to it. It's great. I mean, it's lovely watching that, because there's so many pitches you see, don't you, where the ball doesn't comes off at a slow pace. It's not much fun at all.
So Jordan's given third man Moriarty a wave. He's almost a backstop now under us as Overton bowls. That's pushed into the offside. Knows the call. You're not running to Chris Jordan. Tension building. You feel something's going to happen here, Kev.
I know, but I mean, how many balls have we seen hit down the ground? None, I don't think. Everything's gone square, mid-wicket. Nothing's gone through extra cover. Nothing's really gone through mid-off. Nothing's certainly been hit back past the bowler. It's a very bouncy track.
Overton, ball in hand, charges in again, bowls. That's pushed into the offside. He will get a single this time. It's just the 1 off the over so far, and 4 balls gone.
Really tough, isn't it? I mean, you know, Surrey, I think, have bowled pretty well so far. I don't think you probably wouldn't normally see too much spin on here, because the seamers are quite difficult to play, but Narine is such a class bowler that he could bowl on anything. But this is not easy to get away, is it?
And as a bowler, when a pitch is like this, you have to hit that length, hit the pitch hard. So Overton in again, does that. He's played it down at his feet. Oh no, Albert's come. After all that, it's a dot ball. He wanted to get back on strike. Weatherly was not interested. 56 for 3, and Churchy has given me a way to highlight the crayons that are on the top down to our left. And I actually know who they are. They're the University of Portsmouth Athletics Club who have come to watch today. One of my friends is down there as part of the crayons. They've all got their legs out.
Are they dressed as crayons?
They are crayons.
Oh, right, they are.
Can you not see the different colours?
I think I can now, actually, now you say that.
If Churchy can see them, you can. There's Overton in, that's played into the gap on the leg side. They're only running that first one slowly. That's a fantastic over, though, by Overton. He's bowled 2 overs for 12 and picked up 2 wickets. James Vince and Tom Press, 2 batters that have been in form. He's dangerous on this pitch.
Yeah, he certainly is, yeah. 13 and 30 for Preston Vince, respectively. Of course, that's your former uni, isn't it?
It is, that's what I said. One of my friends is down there. He sent a picture up of the commentary box. But he said, why does no one else dress up at the Ageas Bowl? I think he expected more fancy dress, like obviously at the test match, but they're certainly outnumbered by people in normal clothes today, that's for sure.
9 gone, 11 to do. Here's Narine then to start his second over. His first over went for 4. There's a sweep shot. It's gone fine by Weatherly. That'll only be a single as the throw comes in. Slightly untidy. The ball hits the stumps at the same time. And the Hawks are 58 for 3, having been put into bat here by the Southern Group leaders, Surrey. Yet to be beaten in any competition this season. Lead the championship table. Lead the Southern Group T20 table. Here's Narine, runs away from us and bowls. That's just come back in at Albert. Doesn't trust it, so he just plays it quietly. On the onside, Narine fields off his bowling.
How much as well? Obviously, he's a fantastic, skillful bowler, but as a batter, when you're facing against a bowler that's world class, you do have that extra respect, if you like.
Oh, he's edged through to first slip. And that is Jordan who's taken the catch, and that ball's gone the other way. Now this is why Narine is such a dangerous bowler. The ball before came in to Albert. The second ball there, as he's looking to drive on the up, has gone away from him. It's caught the edge, and Jordan has taken a smart catch in the slips. Albert goes for 3. The Hawks are 58 for 4 now.
Yeah, the Hampshire Hawks are in a bit of trouble here. Middle order's got some work to do, but this is skillful bowling. This is exceptional bowling we're seeing here from Surrey, and you can see why they're top of this Southern Group, and you can see why they're top of this championship as well. They're such a skillful side, the depth, the variety in their attack. They've got pace, they've got spin, mystery spin if you like, as well as some good, exciting young fast bowlers as well. It's really been a fantastic display from them so far.
And that's, of course, without the Sam Currans, without your Ollie Popes, without Tom Curran. The list goes on. So they are no Jordan Clark, the all-rounder, who's got an injury at the moment. So they are a formidable side. Whether there are England call-ups, whether there are injuries, they can still field a first-class starting 11. Ross Whiteley, the left-hander, is the new man in for Hampshire, and he does put bat to ball as well. Strikes at 140 odd per 100, which is right up there.
Thanks for the strike rate update, Kev.
That's all right. I know you love a strike rate update. Narine bowls round the wicket and Whiteley hits it on the onside. There is at least a single in front of square there because everybody's back on the 30 on the boundary. And that's Rory Burns coming in off the deep mid-wicket boundary. So Whiteley's off the mark straight away, 59 for 4, 2 balls left of the 10th.
Look, I'm really interested how Ross Whiteley's going to play here today. He obviously played fantastically well, getting 23 off 7 balls in the last game, but he's got a lot more balls to face today. Yeah,
in a way, he's in too early. That's in the air, and that split the field on the leg side. 1 bounce for 4 through square leg. That is Joe Weatherly's shot. A little easier to play off the spinner when he's fetching it from outside off stump than maybe a Jamie Overton.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a fantastic shot from Weatherly. But even that, Kev, that was in the air all the way to the boundary rope. It seemed very hard to get on top of the ball and keep the ball along the ground here today.
Yeah, a lot of balls in the air. Now, immediately there was a response in the field with Chris Jordan taking himself out of slip. He's just taken a catch there. When he's taken himself out, he's gone into the covers. Pollard has gone a little closer, extra cover. There's the reverse sweep there. Goes behind square on the offside. They'll jog through for a single. That is 10 overs gone here at the Ageas Bowl. Good crowd here. There is at least as many here as there were Friday night. We're looking at around 8,000. Good atmosphere. 64 for 4. And there were 7 runs off that Narine over. And Mark Church from BBC Radio London will come in alongside Emily. And Narine has now bowled 2 overs, 1 for 11. Jamie Overton, 2 overs, 2 for 12. And they've just got the better of the Hampshire batting, Mark Church.
Yes, and Chris Jordan now comes into the attack. So this is what he's been doing. The captain sort of holding himself back. He can always bring himself in if needs be, but he'll bowl now in this middle period, probably 1 over, and keep a couple back for the end. But yeah, it's been a good start this from Surrey. The massive wicket of James Vince, absolutely huge from a Surrey point of view. 30 for Vince today. Here's Jordan then from the pavilion end, coming over the wicket to Weatherly. Weatherly's forward, plays this one back up the pitch, and there's no run. Good afternoon, Emily Windsor.
Good afternoon. Do you know what I haven't said yet?
Yes, what's that?
Happy Father's Day.
Yes, well, absolutely.
For all those listeners out there.
Yes, indeed. Electric guitar I got. Not for me, for my daughter.
I'm not sure that's how it's meant to work, though.
No.
I think it's
I got her a present for Father's Day. I'm not sure that's the way it is meant to work,
my dad's
really.
let me down there.
As in over the wicket once again comes Jordan. This one tucked away off his hip by Weatherly. Out towards Rory Burns with his hair flowing out the back of his cap. And the throw comes in, 1 bounce over the top of the stumps. 65 for 4. But as I say, options-wise, just from a bowling point of view, just Chris Jordan, the captain, options-wise, can bring himself on when he wants to. And to have, you sort of look up now for the 11th over and it's Chris Jordan, you think, oh, come on. And he's going to keep a couple back for the end as well, isn't he?
Especially when you look up and it's only his first ball with his spell gone. I think this really shows you the depth in Surrey's side. And I think when we were going through the team list earlier, Churchy, when you just said only 2 bowlers in this 11 do not bowl, he really has his options.
Burns and Evans, and of course Jamie Smith. Although Burns would tell you he does bowl. As in round the wicket comes Jordan, and this is turned by Whiteley. The left-hander up towards mid-on. They'll take a single as Narine wanders across to do the fielding. What do you think par is on this, Emily Windsor?
Do you know what? I think at the moment where Hampshire are at, they've got to look 160 plus, but I don't think that's enough. But it does look tricky to bat on. With the pace that Hampshire have in their attack, Fuller, I think, will be dangerous. Nathan Ellis, the Australian seamer. It's going to be interesting. You never know till 2 teams have batted on it.
Absolutely. As Jordan is in, Weatherly is pushing down towards backward point. Laurie Evans comes round to do the fielding, and there is no run. But excellent crowding today. Bit quiet at the moment, but will no doubt pick up. And nice to see the crayons. I did realise they were crayons that are here from Portsmouth University today. What are they studying at Portsmouth University, the crayons?
They could be doing lots of different things. They're just they do athletics, which is what brings them together.
And colouring in.
Yeah.
And colouring in.
Obviously they do that as part of their...
A lot of that as part of their crayon courses. In over the wicket once again comes Jordan, short, pulled by Weatherly. Out towards deep backward square. Rory Burns is there to do the fielding once again. Throw is in. 1 bounce over the top of the stumps.
I think here from, a Hampshire perspective, Weatherly for me is going to be key. I think he needs to play that innings where he bats through, if you like, consolidates. Ross Whiteley, obviously James Fuller's yet to come. Liam Dawson, who can play a handy innings, but if Hampshire keep losing wickets here, they're going to find themselves in trouble and probably won't be able to scrape to that 160, but they need wickets in the tank at the back end, and I think Weatherly can afford to play that mature role.
Round the wicket goes Jordan to Whiteley. Whiteley just looking to work leg side, and it just straightens on him. It's a really good first over that from Chris Jordan. Just the 4 off it. 11 gone then. Here on BBC Radio Solent, BBC Radio London, the Hampshire live stream, BBC Sport website and app. 11 gone, stuck in by Surrey. Hampshire Hawks are 67 for 4.
I just think as well, as a batter in this attack, we're going back to it again, but there's not a bowler you can target, is there? I think in a dressing room, pre-game, you do all sort of the match analysis and stats. You pick a bowler out to be like, we can take these down. Yes, this bowler, if we can take them we don't have to take them for many, but in this attack, there's no let-off. There's no one that you can obviously be like, I'm going to target him, and that's credit to the depth in this Surrey side, especially with all those players as well in the ODI squad. Jason Roy, Sam Curran, Tom Curran obviously out injured, Jordan Clark, the list goes on. Ollie Pope, as that's swept by Weatherly out to deep square leg for a single.
Yeah, it's interesting. The batting side of things is with Surrey is what a lot of people talk about, but for me it's been the bowling this season. The options that they've got in that bowling attack are frankly ridiculous at times, and the fact that Chris Jordan, as I say, brings himself on for the 11th over. Pollard's not going to bowl today, I wouldn't have thought.
Narine then round the wicket to Whiteley, who's gone for a sweep, does not hit the ball, and it's a dot ball.
And then you got the pace of Overton. I think he did James Vince on pace there, actually. On a quick pitch like this, I think he did James Vince on pace, and he's confident at the moment, Jamie Overton.
Narine in again, bowl swept well this time by Whiteley. He's got hold of that. The fielder's not going to be able to get there. Fantastic shot that by Ross Whiteley. His first boundary. He moves to 6, 72 for 4, Hampshire Hawks.
Interestingly, with Narine, it's the cross-batted shots that people have success with, but the problem is he'll see you do it once, and then he'll either just slow it back or hold it back a touch, or he'll get it just to bounce a bit more. But when a batter picks the right one with the cross-batted shot, that's the one. I haven't seen anybody hit him down the ground yet in the competition.
I don't think I'd be running at him or trying to play with a straight bat. Which way is it going as he bowls again? On the back foot, played nicely by Whiteley into the mid-wicket gap for a single.
Well, that's the thing with him. He basically takes out, when he bowls at you, he's taking out the two ends of the ground. So the only way you can go is square, because it's going to take a hell of a shot, as you say, to run down the wicket and go over the top, because you don't know which way the ball's going. So he's taking out the hotel and the pavilion. You can't go down the ground to him.
That's a hell of a shot into the pavilion.
It is,
Churchy.
Absolutely.
Haven't seen many over the roof. A massive playing surface in the Ageas Bowl, and actually some sun coming through the clouds onto the umbrella roof over that Rod Bransgrove pavilion. There's Narine in, round over the wicket, cut away nicely that by Weatherly. Rory Burns comes round quickly and keeps it to a single. That's a great bit of work from him, releasing the ball as soon as it's in his hands. 14, Weatherly moves to 74 for 4.
Yeah, so when Narine is bowling at you, as I say, he's taking out two ends of the ground, because it's going to be an even better shot to ramp it straight over your head for 4. So it's sort of those sweeps, but in front of square are the shots that the batters have had success.
Narine in again, pushed into the offside. Weatherly sends Whiteley back as Jamie Overton gets to the ball quickly. That's 12 overs gone, so 8 remain. The Hampshire Hawks 74 for 4. The 4 wickets gone. McDermott for 5, Vince for 30. He was given a life on 19 as well. Tom Prest for 13 and Toby Albert for 3. So a fantastic start for Surrey. Hampshire looking to rebuild, to have some batters in the tank to go at the end.
Yep, and Chris Jordan comes out the attack after his 1 over, and Jamie Overton comes back into the attack. Jordan, as I say, will leave himself a couple for the end of this innings. Field at the moment, the 5 back, 3rd, sweeper on the cover rope, 2 back on the leg side rope and a fine leg. Weatherly sweeping, we talked about it, he's almost done it, and it didn't really get hold of it, and it's bounced down towards Dan Worrell. But it's a brave shot, that, from Weatherly. I remember Mal Loy doing that to Brett Lee in a one-day international, when Mal Loy got a call up into the one-day squad in Australia, 067 I think it was, and he went down on one knee and swept Brett Lee for 6. Mal Loy was brilliant at that, the sweep against the really quick bowlers, but it's a heck of a shot.
I'm sorry, that is ridiculous. Getting on one knee against the bouncing, quick Overton. Brave from Weatherly.
As Overton runs towards us, comes around the wicket to Whiteley, and Whiteley's forward. Nice looking shot. Oh dear, oh no. Now Jamie Overton here. Oh no. Jamie Overton there hobbling as he went down. He's all right. God dear. Jamie Overton there sort of went down like a ton of spuds, like a sack of potatoes. I think it's fair to say, but he's up on his feet again here. If there is anything there, he'll be off. Because, of course, there is a test match next week. But just as he went down there, I thought, oh, dear, but he's up. And they've got a single 76 for 4. As Jamie Overton comes in over the wicket. And this one is pulled for 6. Got hold of that one. And Overton's cross with himself. He missed his length there to Weatherly. That's a great shot, though, from Joe Weatherly. He's got all of that. Kevin James helps himself to get another all-butter flapjack away to my right-hand side. As that soars over Rory Burns, away for 6. Great shot, Joe Weatherly. He's on to 21. Status quo, 82 for 4.
I think that was a celebratory flapjack, that from Kevin James. I think instead of a drinking game here, we've got an eating game going on. That's wickets, you have to have one, Churchy.
In over the wicket again comes Jamie Overton. Fuller of length this time. Weatherly pops that one down towards backward point, and there's no run. I tell you what, my daughter will be learning some quo on her new electric guitar. There's no doubt whatsoever about that.
I feel like Churchy, this we were talking about off air, you know, she's giving her guitar, and I said she's learning Top Gun. I was like, does she get any choice on that?
No choice whatsoever. 82 for 4. Layla, as well, I've told her. Eric Clapton. As waiting once again, Weatherly. In over the wicket comes Overton, and Weatherly's short one, that's quicker. Whoa, that is quicker from Jamie Overton. That's past him before he's played the shot really there, Weatherly, and that's taken by Jamie Smith off his feet. But that one he did bend his back to Jamie Overton. That's the sort of ball that he bowled to his brother. Not the one that actually struck Craig, but it was the first ball after he came back out, and it was about that pace, and he ended up sitting down at square leg. That was rapid from Jamie Overton. As in he comes once again to Weatherly, and Weatherly's pulling him in front of square out towards deep mid wicket. There's Will Jacks to do the fielding, and the throw comes in. End of the Overton over, 13 gone, 83 for 4 Hampshire. And as you said, Emily, Joe Weatherly absolutely key here for Hampshire. He has to sort of still be there for the start of the last over, doesn't he, Joe Weatherly?
Yeah, absolutely. And actually the longer Whiteley bats, we know towards the end when he's got less balls to go, he can tee off. Against Kent, 23 off 7 balls. So here's a man with power. I'm not going to have any flapjacks left.
Can I say, you thought it was every time there's a good shot. I think it's every ball he's having a flapjack away to our right-hand side.
I think we're going to have to send him to M&S to get another box in a minute.
Seen anyone dive in? He's waist deep in flapjacks here, Kevin James. As Gus Atkinson from the hotel end is... Can I just apologise as well on the live stream for the headshots of myself and Kevin
I enjoyed
James.
them.
They are terrifying, aren't they? As in over the wicket comes Atkinson then to Weatherly. And Weatherly, oh, top edge off the front foot. That's gone for 6. That's into the Shane Warne stand. And there's nothing wrong with that from Joe Weatherly. And he's just stood on that front foot, swung across the line. More of a top edge, but it's not the longest boundary down there. Weatherly on to 28. Hampshire Hawks move on to 89 for 4.
That's his signature shot, Churchy. That's what changed his game. Not last winter, the winter before that. He worked really hard on his white ball game, and that shot is game-changing for him. It's his boundary option, and he plays it so well.
Played that one really well. Seeing it again on the replay as Gus Atkinson's in again, and he's trying it once more, but to a fuller length ball. That's come off the toe end of his bat. That rolls out towards deep mid-wicket. Overton comes up to do the fielding. And they will pick up a single. Hampshire Hawks 90 for 4. Floodlights are coming on now as well. So floodlights coming on, bit of floodlit action this afternoon. Lots of kids here today as well, which is fantastic to see. And what I love about the Ageas Bowl is the big concourse where you can go for a wander. There's sort of a bouncy castle type thing away there in the distance behind
bouncy slide
the pavilion.
Looks appealing.
No, that is good if you're on a bit of an elastic.
That one, there's one on an elastic, the flat one that you've got to run as far as you can.
I'd love J-Mo to do that. Kevin James on that would be something else, wouldn't it? As in, over the wicket comes Atkinson. That's very wide down the leg side, and Whiteley won't get anything on that. Wide is the signal from Billy Taylor. And one more to the total, 91 for 4. But there's loads of entertainment for the kids here as well. It's fantastic.
And it's the All-Stars and Dynamos Day as well. So for those that don't know, that's where the youngsters, when you're really, really young, you first get into cricket, and that sort of being the introduction. And they're all here today supporting Hampshire Hawks.
In over the wicket once again goes Gus Atkinson, and looking to swing on the leg side is Whiteley. That hits him on the pad. Balloons away into the leg side. Leg buys the signal.
Again, what I'm going to pick up on here, Church, is where Surrey's boundary fielders are, and that will tell you the pace of this pitch. They're all behind square. There's not many boundary fielders. We got no long on, long off. As I say that, Chris Jordan's going to come out to long on, but most of those fielders are behind square, particularly on the offside.
As in over the wicket goes Atkinson, short and cutting is Weatherly, and outside edging is Weatherly, and Jamie Smith takes a good catch. And Weatherly's promising innings comes to an end on 29. Gus Atkinson has another one. He's got a couple now, Gus Atkinson. And the Hampshire Hawks are 92 for 5. But case in point again, just that extra bounce. And a good catch from Jamie Smith off his feet, up above his right shoulder. Good pace from Gus Atkinson. And Weatherly there, sort of cut off in his prime, really. Gone for 29 off 25 balls. And Hampshire 14 overs gone, 92 for 5.
I'll tell you what, if I was a seamer in that Hampshire dressing room, I'd be strapping on my boots now, looking forward to going out and bowling. It really is a pitch that the seamers can make the most of. Extra pace, extra bounce, and Surrey is certainly utilising it well, these bowlers. Atkinson's got 2, Overton's got 2, and just the 1 for the spinner of Narine.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Hybrid pitch, pace and bounce. That opens up all sorts of options. And James Fuller, who is very capable of hitting an extremely long ball, is out there in the middle. He'll enjoy this pitch, won't he, James Fuller, because he's quick.
He's been extremely reliable as well. This has been a massive season for him in both the Championship and white ball. For Hampshire, he's been that man that's been consistent and stood out, which in previous years you couldn't really say about him.
Atkinson over the wicket to the right-handed Fuller. Forward he comes, just pushes this one out into the offside. Up comes Rory Burns, sweeping on that cover point boundary rope. Another single, first run for Fuller. 93 for 5, and this brings Whiteley on to strike on 8. It was a good catch that from Jamie Smith, because it was rising all the time. He kept very well at Taunton as well, did Jamie Smith. As Gus Atkinson, wearing 37 as always, runs away from us, comes in over the wicket to Whiteley. Another short one, and Whiteley's hooking, rolling the wrists on this. Out it goes towards deep backward square. There's Laurie Evans, who's got a very good arm. Straight over the top of the stumps. That is the end of the 14th over. And Hampshire Hawks, after being stuck in by Surrey, find themselves 94 for 5 after 14, Emily Winter.
2 powerful men at the crease for Hampshire. Probably the 2 most powerful in the dressing room, Fuller and Whiteley. They've got some work to do here. 6 overs left, 36 balls. What can they find themselves getting up to? The batters to come. We've got Liam Dawson, who's more of a strike rotator, who could bat nicely with these, but after that, Nathan Ellis, the all-rounder from Australia, Chris Wood and Mason Crane. So the Hampshire dressing room want these 2 to bat for as long as they can, as Chris Jordan brings himself back into the attack from the pavilion end into Whiteley bowls. He's hit back to him, caught and bowled!
Behave.
Chris Jordan, one of the best fielders in the game, the most experienced white ball players in the game. That was hit hard by Whiteley, but he has to go. He's gone for 9 off 10 balls. Hampshire struggling here now, 94 for 6.
Yeah, naughty catch that. Whiteley got hold of that, but he's such a good fielder. Off his own bowling there, Chris Jordan made it look simple, but that was absolutely smash back at him. And Ross Whiteley goes for 9, and it's just sort of a bit stuttery at the moment for Hampshire. Haven't really got any rhythm to this innings as yet, have they? And you feel someone, Fuller, probably going to be that man. You've got to just have a couple of overs where everything flies off to the boundary here. So, but great bit of work off his own bowling there from Chris Jordan.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic, that from Jordan. Why, he's one of the best white ball players in the country. Ian Dawson come to the crease, and now he's a player that likes a gritty innings, and he likes situations like this. He's more than capable with the bat. Fantastic knock in the championship, a match-winning knock in the championship. Yes, a different format for Hampshire, so, but he has some confidence with the bat. But he's got a lot of work to do here. It's Chris Jordan in from the pavilion end bowls, and that's pushed into the offside. We know as it's gone straight to Kieran Pollard.
I think that's the first time Mr. Pollard's touched the ball during this Hampshire Hawks innings. He sort of, as I say, just hovers in that extra cover and then drops in at slip as well.
I tell you what, he gets tight in there though. He's quite far off the ring, and he sort of wanders in tighter. He makes his presence known.
Well, he's such a big man anyway that you're not going to sort of miss him if he is walking in at you, are you?
The gap must be very small as Dawson's looking towards the covers. As Jordan in again, that's hit through the covers.
Shot.
Liam Dawson, that was a textbook drive. That's one of our first drives we've seen down the ground today, and that's where he scored his runs in that championship innings as well. 4 runs to Dawson.
It's a brilliant point from you. I think if you looked at a wagon wheel, that is the first time we've seen anything go down the ground today. Everything they're sort of targeting Surrey and defending the big boundaries either side square, and of course the pace of the pitch. But that was a lovely shot from Liam Dawson. Gorgeous way to get his innings started.
It wasn't full either. It was a good length ball, and he just waited for it, hit his bat, and pierced that small cover gap that we were talking about. Pollard filling as Jordan in, this time back of a length, and Dawson just knocks that one down. Rotates the strike nicely. He moves to 5 off 3, 99 for 6. Hampshire.
Fantastic cricketer, Liam Dawson. Sort of got 2 of the best white ball cricketers going head to head there in Chris Jordan and Liam Dawson. And that was a gorgeous shot from Dawson to get himself started. So Jordan would have said to himself, actually, do you know what? There's nothing wrong with that ball. It's just a very good bit of batting.
I feel like as a bowler in white ball cricket, you have to say that to yourself, because you can bowl the best ball and it be whacked out the park with the skill of our batters these days. It's Jordan in, that's a bouncer. Fuller charged him and then decided to get out the way of it. Jordan followed him. This is fiery stuff from Surrey. Really, really entertaining. Fuller's a tall man as well. He did well to get under that.
Well, he did. I think it's fair to say that Chris Jordan saw him coming and, yes, banged it in. And he ended up, he did very well to get out the way of that, didn't he?
He certainly did.
But that was almost as if to say, do not even think about coming down at the pitch at me on this pitch.
Jordan then, he's got fluorescent orange to complement his white boots. Just adjusts his field slightly. And then comes into Fuller bowls, and that's played down the pitch. He's tried to run, he's thrown it back at him, and in the end it's gone through for a single. Chris Jordan, that was a fantastic over. But Hampshire's hundreds up in the 15th over, and a few more words from Mark Church, and Kevin James will be alongside you.
Thank you very much, Emily Windsor. Great bit of cricket that. Fantastic off his own bowling, but so quick with the throw. Jamie Smith didn't have a chance to get round, did his very best. And the ironic cheers. Very long single, that. Now, Dan Moriarty is coming into the attack from the hotel end. So, Dan Moriarty from the hotel end. Very experienced now is Dan Moriarty in terms of T20 cricket. Made everything last summer and the summer before for Surrey, but it's had to wait until this game to get his first bowl this season. James Fuller will be the man on strike as Moriarty left arm round the wicket. He comes to Fuller, and Fuller just works him into the leg side. They might think about 2. They'll only get 1 as up comes Chris Jordan from long on to do the fielding. Fuller will move on to 3. Hampshire moving on to 101 for 6. Good afternoon again, Kevin James.
Hello.
Good, I'm glad. I was just worried you might have a all-butter flapjack in your mouth there without realising. You have been flying in there, my friend, as here is Moriarty and Dawson leading edge just over the top of Moriarty. For a moment I thought he'd stuffed himself, and if that had gone past his outside edge, Dawson was in no man's land, but he managed to get some sort of bat on it and got it up and over the top of Moriarty for a single. 102 for 6. Sun's out now, which is very nice, as Moriarty's in again, and Fuller just stands up tall and works it down the ground towards Chris Jordan. They'll pick up a single. 103 for 6. I was saying to Emily that there hasn't been any sort of rhythm to the Hampshire innings, has there? And sort of those wickets have fallen at all the wrong times. But this pitch is interesting as Moriarty is in once again. Dawson backs away and cuts. Nice looking shot. Rory Burns is out there sweeping on the rope. Out at deepish cover point. They'll pick up another single. Dawson moves on to 7. 104 for 6.
I think the Surrey bowling's been exceptional. It really has. It's been difficult to get away. And, you know, Hampshire have perished every time they've looked to kick on. Somebody's got out.
Moriarty is in again. Slog sweeping, Fuller straight down Overton's throat. He's dropped it. Jamie Overton has dropped it. That is a collector's item. He has got the biggest hands. It was straight to him and down it went. So Fuller gets a life. That's a collector's item. Fuller on 5.
Not hard, that.
Moriarty comes round the wicket to Dawson, and Dawson, wow, that has bounced. That's a beautiful piece of keeping as well from Jamie Smith. Dawson is sort of looking down the pitch here. He's got a bowl on here, he'll like that. But yeah, Jamie Overton there, he's just dropped it, and he's put his hand up to Dan Moriarty and gone, I'm really sorry. I don't quite know what happened there. End of the over, 16 gone. And Hampshire Hawks 105 for 6.
There's just not been one big over. So, you know, everybody that's come on to bowl has kept it tight. You know, there's not been one over where Hampshire can have a thrash and they've got away with it. Every time they've tried to play and up it, they've got out. And, yeah, there's a little bit there in the wicket, a little bit of bounce. Probably, it feels like there's a little bit more than there was the other night. But I just think the Surrey bowling has been exceptional. Narine, this guy Jordan mixes a pace up. I mean, it's so difficult, isn't it? Here he is from the pavilion end. That's hit on the leg side by Fuller. Runs the first one quickly, but if it's picked up clean, they won't get 2, which they don't. And I think that is Will Jacks out there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Way to our left, 107. I tell you, it's 106 for 6 at the start of the 17th. I'm just looking at the clouds away to our right. Yes, it's okay above us, but to our right, sort of towards the New Forest and beyond, towards Bournemouth, there is that sort of hazy blue air, blue cloud that suggests that there is some rain not a million miles away from us, but it's not above us, so that's good news. There is forecast 1 or 2 showers. We haven't had any as yet. That's way down the leg side. I think that's as poor a ball as I think I've ever seen Chris Jordan bowl.
Yeah, it's his slower one. Out the back of the hand, and he's banged it in short. It's actually turned a bit, I think, down the leg side and bounced twice before it got to Jamie Smith. The thing that it's interesting, isn't it? It's sort of in T20, you always tend to notice batters because they're bashing it out the park and it all looks spectacular. But as I say, the thing that's impressed me the most about Surrey in this competition is the bowling. It's outstanding, and there's so many options.
Yeah. Apart from that last ball, of course, as Jordan bowls. That's pulled away by Dawson along the ground. Again, it's gone out to Jacks. It should only be a single. They want to, but there just isn't any there.
And this modern having plans, this modern, you know, they talk about it, matchups and all this stuff. And the other thing you notice with Surrey is how often the ball goes to a fielder. How often they'll play a shot and the fielder hardly has to move. They tend to have everybody in exactly the right place. They all know where they're going. And they're enjoying it from a fielding point of view. You can see they're enjoying being part of this at the moment.
108 for 6. We're in the 17th as Jordan bowls from that pavilion end. Slower ball, and that's whipped away by Fuller, and that has split the field on the leg side, and that is 4 very welcome runs.
Yep, very good shot that from James Fuller. Good bit of batting because, as I say, they got the 2 men out there, but he's managed to split Burns and Jack. So just a nice roll of the wrist from James Fuller, and it absolutely whistled off to the boundary rope for 4. And Fuller moves on to 10. Hampshire Hawks move on to 112 for 6.
There's only been 2 maximums in this innings so far, and on Friday there were 11. So I'll give you an example about how tight Surrey have been. That's a flat bat shot by Fuller up towards deep mid-off. Deep mid-on, he hasn't really got hold of that. Fast hand speed, but not out of the middle of the bat by any stretch of the imagination. He moves on to 11, 113 for 6.
And Emily and I were both saying that sort of that's probably the second one I can remember, and Emily was saying as well that because of the pace of the pitch and the way that Surrey have mixed it up, if you look to the wagon wheel now, there's been 1 fall down the ground, and that single. Everything else has been square of the wicket in terms of runs for Hampshire today.
Yeah, it's been very good exhibition of how to bowl in T20 cricket. Length ball, which Dawson hits wider mid-on. Not enough pace on it to take it past the fielder, but they will pick up 2. And Dawson will now move into double figures. 115 for 6 with 1 ball left of the 17th.
Yeah, and we were saying with Narine as well, he almost takes 2 ends of the ground out at you, because you're going to be a brave person to run down the wicket and try and knock him over the top. And also, yet sweeping, it's always in front of square. You hardly ever see him get swept behind square. So he's almost taking out 2 ends of the ground when he bowls.
It's class. Class from Narine. All the Surrey bowlers have been impressive as Jordan Bowles gone for the Yorker. Dawson trying to swing away on the leg side, gets whacked on the boot, and that is a dot ball to finish the 17th over. 115 for 6. Dawson is 10 off 9. Fuller is 11 off 9. Narine still has an over to bowl, 1 for 18.
I think he'll bowl it now as well. Yep, here he comes. So he's going to bowl that final over now. Well, it'll be interesting when Hampshire get the ball in their hands on this pitch as well.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the ball will go through Fuller. You know, at Nathan Ellis, they'll get the ball through, but I just think the pressure's not on Surrey. I mean, whatever happens now, unless there is a big over, and we haven't had one in 17, it's going to be, you feel, a manageable total to chase down. It's just either Surrey have got to play poorly, Hampshire have got to bowl well and have a little bit of luck. Otherwise, at the moment, you feel it's not enough.
So Narine to bowl his final over of the piece. Coming into Fuller, who's having a cut at that. That goes straight past his outside edge. Look at this slipping. 18th over, and there's a slip-in for Narine. 115 for 6 as Narine comes over the wicket once again to Fuller. Oh, well done, James Fuller, because he's gone down the ground. He's gone down the ground, and he's gone for 6. That's the first time I can remember anybody doing that to Narine, getting down the pitch and going over the top. And he's got it over Laurie Evans. It was up there a long time, but that's a great shot from Fuller. He's on to 17, 121 for 6.
You've got to be taking a chance to do that. Cool. And I think now's the right time. I wouldn't want to do it too often, but, you know, we're talking of, 17 balls left of the innings. So, you know, somebody's got to take the chance.
Narine, how does he follow that up? One that just spins back a touch. Flatter, cut by Fuller, out towards Rory Burns.
So that's the first time this season.
Yeah, I can remember Narine getting someone coming down the pitch to Narine and putting him over the top, straight.
Yeah, wow.
Either long off, long on. It's been a couple that have gone over mid-wicket, but straight. Yeah. As Narine's in again, swinging his Dawson across the line, looking for mid-wicket, hits the pad, rolls away down towards backward point. Leg by is the signal. And that'll be one more to the total. 123 for 6. Fuller comes back onto strike on 18.
Is he going to chance it again?
In over the wicket comes Narine to him. Yep, he's down the pitch. Oh dear. Well, he's managed to get something on it because Narine saw him coming, and it was quick outside the off stump and wider, but he got a bit of bat on it. He almost did him on the outside there, did Narine, but fair play to Fuller. He gets a couple more runs. He's on to 20 now.
He wasn't anywhere near the pitch.
No, absolutely nowhere. It made a horrible noise as well.
It was a horrible mow.
Yes, but at least he got some bat on it. Yes. Otherwise, he'd have been stumped by a half a pitch, I think, there, James Fuller. As he's just settling himself down over his bat once again, as Narine is over the wicket to Fuller, and Fuller punches down towards backward point, and he will get a single as Rory Burns is pretty deep covering there. And Narine's done it again because that's the end of his spell, and again he stayed under 30. Narine, he hasn't gone for more than, I think that's twice now.
Well,
he's gone for 28.
Is that right? Well, he's gone for 7 and over there in his spell, and this season he's going for less than 6s. So actually Hampshire haven't done a bad job. I mean, they haven't exactly smashed him out of the attack, but it's more than what he's been going for.
Yeah, at Lord's 2 for 28
is it?
Off his 4. But yeah, during this over, I'll just give you Narine's figures in the competition so far, because they are ridiculous.
Well, there's actually 11 off that as well. So 2 more 11 and overs will give Hampshire around about nearly 150. Here's Worrell switching ends from the pavilion end, and that's swatted away over mid-wicket. That is a big hit. James Fuller, 4 rows back on the long boundary side to our left. Wow. That's flat bat.
Proper stand and deliver that from James Fuller, wasn't it? Just back of a length, and he's just got that front leg out the way and then swung it. And that made a lovely noise out the middle of his bat. That is a big old hit, because the boundary's in a long way there from the stand.
It's not one of those where you're watching the ball in the air thinking, is that going to make it over the rope? You knew from the minute it left his bat. He's on 27 off 15. What does Worrell do here now? He's got deep mid off, deep mid on. Is he going to bowl full? That is full. That's good bowling. That's a good reply there from Dan Worrell. He is of that pace, isn't he, at bowling at the death, where if you do get it out of the middle of the bat, it will travel. Fuller is an ideal player, because he does put bat to ball, but Worrell will have to come up with something, and he did there.
Just say, Narine's bowled his full 4 in every game so far. So first 2 games, 1 for 17 off his 4.
Here's Worrell again, right arm over, comes racing in, and that's an inside edge, past fine leg for 4, fine leg up on the 30-yard circle. Fuller having another heave, wasn't anywhere near he was aiming, but it's 4 runs.
Against Hampshire at the Oval, 1 for 24. Kent at Canterbury, 1 for 18. Sussex back at the Gear Oval, 1 for 21. 2 for 28 at Lord's. 2 for 27 the other night against Middlesex. And 1 for 28 today.
I mean, that fantastic consistency for a spinner. But I think what all that also says is, whilst he's not been taking big wickets, it also shows nobody's taking him on.
No, that's what I mean. Fuller there, credit to him, because that's the first time I can remember it.
136 for 6. Here's Worrell again. It's full. That's good bowling, and Fuller digs that one out up to mid-on. Now quickly through is Liam Dawson, but there was never any danger of 2. But Dawson was always looking for it. Jamie Overton coming in off the deep mid-on boundary. 137 for 6. We have 2 balls left of the 19th. Fuller injecting some momentum in this innings. 32 off 18, but he's a non-striker.
Yeah, Dawson's just down to have a little chat with Fuller. It'll be interesting to see as well what Duckworth Lewis is, if there is going to be some rain about.
It's looking all right, isn't it?
Yeah, it is at the moment. But as you say, it looks sort of a bluish colour. That cloud to our right. Yes,
it's not ideal blue. Now Dawson hits that over extra cover. Hasn't quite got hold of it. The ball plugs in the outfield, but they will pick up 2 more. I thought he'd hit that better than that. Opened his body out and hit it over the extra cover fielder, but not right out of the middle of the bat, unfortunately. He's on 12 off 11 now. The Hawks 139 for 6. 1 more ball left of over number 19, and this over so far has gone for 13.
Yep, and 11 off the last one. 13 so far off this one, getting themselves up around that 150, 160 mark, Hampshire.
Here's Worrell again then. Bowls, and Dawson swings that good length delivery. He wants a single. Rory Burns could have thrown at the stumps, but no, says Fuller. Dawson has to turn round. Burns didn't throw, and that'll be a dot ball to end that over. So 6 balls left. The Hawks, having been put into bat here, are 139 for 6.
Yeah, and I think Rory Burns' sensible decision there, wasn't it? Because it would have been an overthrow. If he hadn't hit the stumps, they'd have got an overthrow. But Fuller will be on strike here, and it'll be Chris Jordan to bowl the final over. So Chris Jordan to bowl the final over. And Worrell today, very good figures. 4 overs, no mains, none for 27. If you think 6 of those came off that one massive shot from James Fuller as well. But they've got the right man on strike in the shape of Russell Fuller, and Chris Jordan getting ready to bowl this final over. The volume's gone up a notch for Hi-Ho Silver something. I've forgotten the name of this song. It's a lovely song line. So 139 for 6. And Fuller on strike. Jordan to bowl the final over from the hotel end. Coming in over the wicket to Fuller. That's wide outside the off stump, the slower one. And they're going to scramble a single, which is interesting because Dawson there is now on strike.
You know, in a week where basically being a bowler hasn't been much fun, talking the test at Trent Bridge, obviously over in Amsterdam a few days ago, here the other night against Kent 220 in the T20 game, and Birmingham Bears on the same night created a T20 domestic record, didn't they? 260 off their 20 overs. It just goes to show what a team with a decent bowling attack can actually achieve and how they can keep runs down if you've got the right sort of balls in your armoury, clever slower balls, different pace, knowing what to bowl at right times. It just shows.
Absolutely is. Dawson on strike now, and he's hit Jordan down the ground. Hasn't really got hold of this. That's one bounce down to Laurie Evans at long on, and they'll pick up another single. 142 for 6. Fuller, the good innings this. 32 off 18 for James Fuller, very much so.
And he's on strike as well. I mean, this won't be easy against Jordan. I mean, he is the cleverest of seam bowlers. I mean, you can't say he's a medium pacer because he bowls slower and quicker balls, and for that reason you can't call him anything else, and it's very difficult to detect.
Yeah, he's done this for so many years now. As Fuller waits, Jordan's into him and Fuller swings him down the ground again, but hasn't really got hold of this, giving him no room there to get his hands through it and swing those arms. That's the thing with Fuller, he wants to really swing those arms, but there he's all tucked up and cramped up by Chris Jordan, and he'll get a single. 143 for 6.
You're just never sure what pace it's coming at you, which is difficult. Of course, Jordan and Tymal Mills formed a great death bowling partnership for the Brave here. I mean, they were one of the reasons why the Brave won the tournament.
Captained by Mr. Vince. As in over the wicket comes Jordan to Dawson. Billy Taylor have a look at that, keeps his arms down. Dawson's looking back, sort of saying, is that not a wide? And Billy Taylor shaking his head, and Dawson continues as if to say, what have I got to do here, ump? What have I got to do?
That is borderline outside the off stump. You can see Billy Taylor there if you're watching the live picture feed, just explaining it to Liam Dawson out there in the middle.
Yep. So 3 balls to go. As over the wicket once again comes Chris Jordan to Dawson. That's wide. That is wide, and they'll run it again into the gloves of Jamie Smith, so that'll be another couple to the total. And the crowd enjoy that.
Especially at deep square leg where they can really tell.
Yes, exactly. 1 foot in the bar away at deep backward square in mid-wicket. And that's the 50 partnership, and a good one this has been between Liam Dawson and James Fuller, who's done most of the scoring. 32 of that partnership, James Fuller, but it's been a much needed one for Hampshire. 145 for 6. As Jordan, still 3 balls of this over to go, the final one. Comes into Fuller now, and Fuller again doesn't really get hold of this, into the leg side. Overton, don't take that arm on. Oh, out. Run out by miles there. You do not take on Jamie Overton's arm. Dawson had to come back for 2. He wants Fuller on strike, but that was like an Exocet missile straight over the top of the stumps. Dawson run out for 13, and 146 for 7, Hampshire.
Yeah, Fuller's got to stay on strike, hasn't he, no matter what. There's wickets in hand as the balls start running out. They should get a run for that, actually.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it should be
146 for 7, that will be up on the board.
I think you're right. So we're going to say that, even though it's not showing that.
Bit of Queen and David Bowie to see Liam Dawson back to the pavilion. Under pressure at this point of the innings with 2 balls to go. But there we are. As great throw from Jamie Overton. 1 bounce straight over the top of the stumps. And 2 balls left of the innings. And 146 for 7. But the important thing here is Fuller's on strike. Ellis is going to do some running at the non-strikers end, Nathan Ellis. As over the wicket then comes Chris Jordan to Fuller, and Fuller digs him out, but that might run away for 4. I think it will. Yep, that runs away for 4. He's got bat on it there, Fuller. It was a great delivery, right up in the block hole. Big inside edge, and the 150 comes up for the Hampshire Hawks. And Fuller's played a very fine knock here for the home side. And 150 comes up with a ball to go, Kevin James.
For me, that's the absolute minimum they needed here. I mean, I still think really it's not quite enough, but 150, you can work with that.
Definitely work with that. So Fuller, 34 he's made. 11 off this Jordan over. And there is 1 ball to come. So final ball of this Hampshire Hawks innings. Fuller's on strike, Jordan's into him, Fuller inside edge looking to swing it down the ground. It rolls away into the offside. Nathan Ellis just keeps running towards the pavilion. Fuller will finish 38 not out. He's played a very, very good innings there, has Mr. Fuller. And yeah, I think 154 for 7, I think, as you say there, Kevin James, it gives them something to play with, doesn't it?
Yeah, it certainly does. I mean, at one stage, I have to say, I didn't think they were going to get quite that many, but James Fuller coming down the order is always a useful player to have. He's actually struck that innings at 181 per 100 balls, and this season, and he's been no slouch this season at 134, so he's been above that. So Hampshire probably ended up with a few more runs than otherwise you might have expected.
I said 154 for 7 because that was on the board.
I had 155.
I have 151.
Well, we're all over the place here, aren't we?
The board had the 150 came up.
Yeah.
And then was single off that last ball of the over. So, and on the live stream scoreboard, it's 151 for 7. And on the main scoreboard, it was 154, and Kevin James had 155. So no doubt the scorers will be diving headlong into their computers. It's up around 150 that Surrey need.
Yeah,
so
I don't quite know what's going on.
I think it's
there.
151.
We don't know the total. Hang on a minute.
Mr. Mann's back. Mr. Mann's back. Mr. Mann's seen something. He's telling Kevin James, unless we missed no balls or a boundary or something, I think it's 151. But we'll see in a minute. Mr. James.
Right, well, Simon Mann, who's along here alongside us at TMS, reckons it's 154 or 155. The scoreboard got things wrong.
Well,
a
see,
little
I've
bit.
gone 151,
yeah,
which the stream has got.
Yeah.
Mr. Mann's gone 154. You've gone 155.
That's what I had originally.
I'm going to have a flapjack.
Yes.
Somebody, somewhere inside the ground, will put the score up in a minute.
Yeah. So we can't give you a definitive answer, actually, to what exactly is the Hampshire total, which is making us look a little bit silly, but we've already had 4 totals thrown at us, and we're still none the wiser. The live picture feed, as we say, is showing 151. I suppose we'll have to go with that for the moment, but apparently during that last over, the scoreboard did start to get things wrong, and of course then it has to unravel. A certain other scorecard has 146 with still 2 balls left.
Yeah, and then there was a boundary, 150, and then there was a single.
Yeah, so probably 151 is probably the one. Well, anyway, while we're working that out, let me quickly give you the top scorers in the Hampshire innings. Good innings, little cameo there from James Fuller towards the end, 34 not out of 20 deliveries. At the top of the innings,
there we are,
30.
got it.
What's that?
Confirmed 151 for 7.
151 for 7, thank you very much. So that is a definite 151 for 7 here at the Ageas. Joe Weatherly with 29 off 25, so none of the Hampshire batters really getting going, and that was really down to some very accurate bowling by Surrey. completing his 4 overs. Sunil Narine, 4 overs, 1 for 28. Difficult to get away, although Fulham managed to get one straight back over his head for 6, which is unusual. 2 for 26 off 3 for Gus Atkinson, the seam bowler, and 2 for 21 off 3, Jamie Overton. That's the situation here at the Ageas Bowl. Mark Church, Emily Windsor, and myself, Kevin James, will be back with you at the start of the Surrey reply. So if you're watching on the live picture feed, you'll be able to see the scorecard. We'll be back with you in about 10 minutes' time. If you're listening to us on BBC Radio Sun at all frequencies, we'll hand you back for now to Adam Blackmore. And the sunshine continues to shine, so those predicted showers are a long way away, and hopefully they will stay away for the conclusion of this game, because Hampshire, off their 20 overs, a seasonally adjusted figure of 151 for 7. There was a bit of confusion with the scoreboard and whatnot at the end, but 151 for 7. Hampshire finished on, you would think, slightly below par, but the Surrey bowling was very, very good indeed. The seam bowlers all enjoyed the bit of extra pace and bounce, and the Hampshire batters sometimes struggled with that. 39 not out from James Fuller injected some pace into the innings at the end. It came off just 22 deliveries. It didn't look as though Hampshire were going to get to that at one stage. So Surrey need 152 to win. It's going to be Chris Wood, the left-arm seamer, to open the bowling from the pavilion end. I'm Kevin James, Mark Church next to me, and Emily Windsor will be with us a little bit later on, as that's a length ball from Wood, and that's played back to him by Will Jacks, and there is no run. So we are underway in this Surrey reply.
Yeah, Jackson Smith to open. So Will Jacks and Jamie Smith out there opening up again for Surrey. They did it against Middlesex on Friday night. Of course, Jason Roy is away playing one-day international cricket in Amsterdam.
Well, having a pretty good time out there. I think they were playing today. I don't know what the score is. That's edge past Liam Dawson, who's in at slip, and that will be 4 runs. Good ball angled across the right-hander there from Wood, but Jackson, I think, was just trying to angle it down to third man. Actually got a thinner edge than he would have thought, and he's off the mark. So Will Jacks has passed 250 runs in this year's competition with that boundary, and he's striking at 154. And opening up, as Mark Church says, is Jamie Smith with him. Hasn't scored too many runs in this competition thus far, as he's trying to work that away on the onside. For me, that's pitching outside leg stump, even though there's a big shout from quite a few of the fielders out there in the middle.
Yeah, well, Jamie Smith, just to put it into context, had faced 4 balls before he opened the batting last week, because he's been coming in at 9 for Surrey. So he got 1 in 3 balls against Gloucestershire, then didn't face a ball against Glamorgan in Cardiff in the game that eventually got rained off. But now opening, and made 15 off 12 balls against Middlesex on Friday night with 3 fours.
Here's Chris Wood again then. Bowls down the wicket comes Jacks and hits that wide of mid-wicket. And they'll score a single. That's good fielding from Fuller, running back from mid-on. Still got the adrenaline flowing from when we batted at the end. Yeah,
good bit of work from Weatherly as well, because I think he got a fingertip to that short mid-wicket, because that was well struck by Will Jacks. But yeah, Jamie Smith he's gone slowly down the order in the games he's played and ended up batting at 9. So back up opening with Jason Roy away with England, who need 237, I think it is, against the Netherlands today in that second ODI.
That looks a bit more of a sensible one-day game, that one, as that's driven by Smith. Half stopped by Wood, took all the pace out of it as Whiteley comes in from mid-off and there's no run. Good crowd here at the Ageas. Yeah, we like that. Good atmosphere. As good a crowd as Friday night. A lot of people wearing their replica Hampshire T20 bright yellow shirts. £5 of those when you buy them goes to the hospital charity.
Oh,
so
brilliant.
Be a few of that.
That is fantastic.
Yeah, a few Viper shirts as well in the crowd I've seen, and that's the same as well. £5 donated to charity. Off the back foot, hit into the ground, fielded by Vince. A few in the crowd thought that was on the full, but it wasn't. I think Vince tried to make out as well it was a catch. 5 without loss after 1 over. Surrey need another 147.
Yep, we're going to get Liam Dawson to get us started from the hotel end of the ground. So with his left arm spin. So 5 without loss, as Kevin James says. Surrey in the duck egg blue shirts. It is officially duck egg blue.
I said turquoise earlier, so
yeah, I always go with if you want to have. I've always said this: if you ever want to have your bathroom or kitchen in this colour, just take the Surrey shirt into the paint shop, because that's officially duck egg blue.
Oh, okay.
So if you want your bathroom in duck egg blue, take the Surrey shirt in, because that is its official title. Yeah. I don't know a lot about colours, but I must admit I'd rather have duck egg blue than turquoise in my bathroom.
See, to me out there,
be a bit more like a boudoir. As in round the wicket then comes Liam Dawson to Will Jacks. First ball. Oh, Dawson's almost pulled off a quite brilliant caught and bowl, because that was hammered back at him by Will Jacks, gave it a bit of flight, and he stuck out a right hand. If he'd held on to that, that would have been an exceptional catch from Dawson. As it is, it stops 4.
Yeah, that's the main thing.
As Dawson round the wicket, he comes to Jacks again, and Jacks is forward and pushes out into the offside. That rolls out towards the captain, James Vince, who does the fielding in there at extra cover. Sun's above us now with a bit of blue sky.
Lovely.
Very pleasant indeed. As Dawson left arm round the wicket, Jacks goes outside his leg. Stumpy's going to go here. Look to drive. Outside edge, straight to backward point. And Will Jacks goes for 5, and Surrey are 5 for 1 in the second, and that just gripped a touch on him as well, I think, from Liam Dawson. So it's a big wicket for the Hampshire Hawks. Will Jacks gone for 5, Surrey 5 for 1.
Yeah, it is. Every wicket's going to be a big wicket here, because it's for me slightly on the low side. I think that's Mason Crane that's taken that catch. That backward point. Yes, it is. Just had that confirmed. The other point I was going to make during that over, well, we're still in the over, is that I think we might see Liam Dawson hit down the ground a little bit more, well, quite a bit more than Narine, because Dawson isn't a mystery spinner. You know, it's bog standard left arm, slow left arm, where he's looking to turn the ball away from the bat. Yeah, the variations come from slight changes of pace and, you know, at the arm ball, which will come in with the angle a little bit, but it's not the same as having a bowler who you can't pick which way it's going to turn once it bounces. So a little bit different. Both bowlers are very, very good at what they do, but as I say, there's not that mystery element to Liam Dawson.
So Laurie Evans is batting at 3. He's out there in the middle as Dawson is into him, and Laurie Evans off the mark in gorgeous fashion. It was a bit short from Liam Dawson, but Laurie Evans has just leant back and punched that off the bat foot into the gap, through the covers and away for 4. So it's a nice start for Laurie Evans there. He moves on to 4, and Surrey 9 for 1. You were talking about Ben McDermott, of course, in the Big Bash, but Laurie Evans had a terrific Big Bash with the Perth Scorchers. Man of the match in the final as well. Okay. Laurie Evans. He'll quite enjoy this opportunity of coming in the second over here. Really? Laurie Evans, I think, because Dawson is into him, and he pushes this one off the back foot down towards long off, and he'll pick up a single. Will Laurie Evans, and one more to him. He moves on to 5, and Surrey move on to 10 for 1.
Look, he's another dangerous player in the Surrey lineup. I'm just looking at his strike rate this season, though, at 117. That's down.
It is.
That's low for him.
It is, and he sort of prides himself on finishing everything off. But I think I'm right in saying his top score in the comp so far is 25 not out, as this one's whipped by Jamie Smith up towards a deepish mid-on, and there is no runners. Fuller does the fielding. End of the over, so successful over for Liam Dawson. The wicket of Will Jacks for 5. 2 gone. Surrey in pursuit of 152 find themselves 10 for 1.
So 142 needed off the last 18 overs. So that's okay. Hampshire had 14 off the first 2, so they're up on this stage. And Nathan Ellis coming into the attack, the Australian seam bowling all-rounder, who came back into the lineup against Kent last Friday after having missed 3 games through a little niggle. And he's a more than useful bowler, Nathan Ellis. Good, clever changes of pace. His economy rate is just under 8 and over.
And I'll say it again, I've never seen Matthew Dunn and Nathan Ellis in the same room. Absolutely identical.
Yeah, you said that.
These two.
You said that before. It's a very skiddy bowler, Nathan Ellis. Played a couple of games in the IPL for the Punjab Kings, but only a couple. Here he is then, right arm over from the pavilion end. Comes in and bowls, and that's a length ball to Evans, who pushes that out into the vacant square cover area for a single. Is my end, isn't it? I can't remember.
It is indeed.
11 for 1 then Surrey, 141 needed. Remember, Surrey coming here as group leaders in the South Group. They have not lost a game in either the Championship or the T20 competitions so far this season. They are an unbeaten side, the only one in the country.
Yeah, and the other thing, that they look identical in terms of looks, but
yes,
they're both quick bowlers as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's a lot to like about Nathan Ellis.
Bowled very well in that game at the Oval earlier. That's hit over mid-off, and that will be 4 runs over the head of Ross Whiteley. It was in the slot. Slower ball attempted, but Smith picked it up quite nicely.
Yeah, he waited really well there, didn't he, Jamie Smith? Just waited and waited, and then picked it up and put it over the top of mid-off to get himself off the mark in nice fashion.
Yeah.
15 for 1.
Yeah, the game at the Oval where Surrey scored 228 for 4, blew Hampshire away by 72 runs. Ellis's 4 overs only cost 26. The only bowler that looked like being able to keep the Surrey total down. 15 for 1 then as Ellis bowls in the sunshine here at the Ageas as he gets wrapped on the pad there. Jamie Smith, ball goes out square. Might have got an inside edge onto that one because umpire Alex Wharf hasn't signalled anything to the scorers.
Well, I just say, the great Dave Allen and the Hampshire Cricket Heritage Hampshire County Cricketers Update 2019 to 2021 pamphlet has a lovely photo of Mr. James Fuller, Mr. Billy Taylor, and then Kevin James looking like he's about to go down the slope at Arundel as the 3 hat-trick takers. Yeah. It's a lovely, lovely photo, that.
On the ground at the same time. 2020, that was during the real COVID year. Bob Willis Trophy against Surrey, yes it was. Yeah. That's played out in the 45, no run.
Yes, indeed. That's when the old marquee we were in, or tent we were in, the gazebo, got absolutely drenched, if you remember.
I do.
But yes, it's a lovely photo, that.
It's very kind of you. All socially distanced, of course.
Yeah, quite right, too.
Which is why I'm the one nearly going down the hill.
I do worry that you are about to, if we'd been a second later, it would have just been your legs up in the air as you went straight down the slope there.
I hadn't really noticed that before, but now you've pointed it out. Here's Ellis from the pavilion end, and that's full, and that's whipped away on the leg side by Evans, who strikes it out to Joe Weatherly, who's fielding a deep square leg boundary away to our left, and Surrey 17 for 1 with 1 ball left at the 3rd.
Yep, nicely played again that by Laurie Evans, but good bowling from Ellis, getting it right up there in the block hole to Laurie Evans. There's a long queue for, that must be the ice cream man down there to our left hand side, I'd have thought, because it's a bit hot for a hog roast.
Yeah,
I think that's for the ice cream man.
And the churros away to our right, big queue there, the old Spanish donuts, aren't they? That's a slower ball, and it's bounced in front of Ben McDermott down the leg side. It was a slower ball bouncer. And what's that going to be signalled by Alex Wharf? I think he's signalling byes. Yes, he is. Awkward take there for McDermott as the ball spewed off his gloves to Chris Wood at short fine leg, and that is the end of the 3rd over. Surrey 18 for 1, 8 runs off it.
Yep, and that wicket, Will Jacks. And the 2nd over off Liam Dawson. Here comes James Fuller, who batted really well for Hampshire and got them up to that 151 for 7 at the back end of the innings. But I'm looking at a picture of James Fuller, as I say, with the update 2019-2021. He could like another hat-trick here against Surrey this afternoon.
That would be handy.
Yep. So 17 left, another 134 to win.
I tell you what, I am disappointed is there was a lovely pick and mix stall just about sort of deep cover as we look, and that's disappeared.
Has it really?
Yeah, it's a shame that
someone's picked it up. Yeah. As in over the wicket then comes Fuller, and shot from Jamie Smith, inside out, over cover, check drive, 2 bounces, and away for 4. And Jamie Smith moves on to 9. And Surrey move on to 22 for 1. It's just a lovely bit of batting, that, from Jamie Smith.
Beautiful shot.
Just inside out, off a goodish length, checks it over the top of James Vince. Knows there's no one out there because we're still in the power play, so it's a very good bit of batting, that, from Jamie Smith. 22 for 1, Surrey, as Fuller comes in over the wicket to Smith, and Smith drives, that beats the outside edge. Taken by McDermott, bit of pace there, bit of bounce. Nicely bowled by James Fuller. And McDermott's taking that off his feet, as Smith was doing, of course, to the Surrey bowlers.
Yeah, gosh, yeah.
A couple of times Jamie Smith was on a trampoline. As Jamie Overton got a couple down there very sharply on this hybrid pitch. As right-handed Smith waits again, as Fuller over the wicket to him. He's up on the toes, and this is tucked away by Jamie Smith out towards deep backward square. They'll pick up a single as a couple of seagulls fly across in front of us. Last week, of course, or this week, what day is it today? Sunday. This week, we had the old peregrine falcons at Taunton.
Did you?
Yeah. Up the old floodlight they were.
Yeah.
And very exciting it was to see the peregrine falcons.
So it's been a good tournament to spot wildlife
Indeed.
this year then.
Well, you go to some lovely places. As in over the wicket comes Fuller, and Laurie Evans trying to work that one round the leg side. That hits the pad, rolls out there towards cover. They'll pick up a leg by, one more to the total.
Of course, I remember the game at the Oval. We had those inflatable corgis.
Ah, yes, of course, because it was Jubilee weekend.
It was.
And as we looked out the commentary box window, a huge inflatable corgi floated in front of the commentary box window. I don't know where it ended up. Windsor probably is. Over the wicket comes Fuller to Jamie Smith, and Smith looks to drive but tucked up a bit for room there. Good bowling from Fuller. Does the fielding off his own bowling, and there is no run. The run rate at the moment 6.3, required rate, if I can say that, 7.9, which actually in terms of T20 is nothing really. 7.9. You'd always settle for that at the start of the game if you were chasing. As they're just going to get a sweeper out on that cover point boundary rope now. Final ball of this, the 4th over. James Fuller is into the right-handed Smith, and Smith shot up on his toes, and he's just again whipped that bottom hand into it, up and over the top of mid-wicket. Proper cricket shot that from Jamie Smith. He's on to 14. End of the over, 4 gone, 28 for 1. Surrey chasing 152.
Yeah, it was a little bit too full and straight, wasn't it? To have your deep cover out there all of a sudden. I mean, it needed to be a little bit more off stump, and it needed to be a bit shorter. You know, there's nobody out of deep mid-wicket. I mean, that's a good shot, but it's to the right ball. Too full, too straight, I'm afraid. 10 runs off that one. Evans has 8, Smith 14. The one man out, Will Jacks, called by Mason Crane, a backward point off the bowling of Liam Dawson for 5. That was 5 for 1. Chris Wood to bowl his 2nd over from the pavilion end, and that's tucked away on the leg side by Evans for a single. Toby Albert fielding on the 45. 28 for 1 now. Surrey, sorry, 29 for 1, lead another 123.
Emily Windsor may have done what she said she was going to do for Father's Day here and gone and got her dad a Cornish pasty.
That was the plan.
Yes, lovely.
Yeah, she's coming back after 10 overs.
Excellent.
Sit with her dad as it's Father's Day.
White vibe too.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Here's Wood in the bright sunshine here at the Ageas as that's turned quietly up to mid-on by Smith for a single. Seemed to be quite happy with that. Didn't try and do anything outrageous.
I'm looking forward to my Father's Day treat tonight.
And that
Isabel on her electric guitar via FaceTime playing me a few riffs.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Tried to get her to do the old swing the arm round.
Oh, yeah.
But we haven't got to that stage yet.
You haven't talked to that yet?
Not yet. Obviously being an electric guitarist myself.
Well, I was going to say, as Wood bowls, that's a length ball. He's found the angle on the 45. It was misfielded initially by Mason Crane, well backed up by Joe Weatherly. In the end, probably saved 4 runs. I could just tell the way you did that.
Yeah, thank you.
That you are obviously a master guitarist.
Well, the sad thing is, I'm sort of generation to generation. I was bought a electric guitar in my youth.
Was you?
Well, I was going to be a rock star, I thought.
Was you?
I went for 1 lesson. That was it. And then it went in the cupboard.
Because you didn't like it in the end with the lesson. 31 for 1, length ball, and Smith tries to work that on the onside, and I think that might have been a thick outside edge, or come off the body actually. It did. Well fielded by Weatherly. You
know me well enough, Kevin James. I wanted to be able to sort of be Jimi Hendrix, but without having to learn how to play the guitar. So I ended up using the electric guitar whilst putting the tape on and pretending that I was on my own in my room, because I'm a very sad individual, as you know.
32 for 1. Here's Wood. Bowls, and that's clipped away in the air by Laurie Evans. He's fully going to get there, not quite at deep mid-wicket. And in fact, he makes a hash of that as the ball bounces in front of him. And where they should have only got 1, they pick up 2.
Yeah, it sort of spun on him, didn't it? I think it was always spinning in the air. And when he got there, Fuller, it just sort of spun away from him a touch. And they've managed to pick up 2 runs, so 34 for 1. Bit of intent here from Laurie Evans today since he's come out to the middle.
12 off 9.
Yeah, first ball punch 4, quick single. That one just flicked away for a couple.
The umpire's having a word with Chris Wood about something. Alex Wharf, I'm not quite sure, but anyway, that conversation has ended. The last ball of the 5th over, 118 needed. Here's Wood, bowls, and edge through to the keeper, very nearly Laurie Evans, who just tried to dab that away on the offside, misses that one. 34 for 1 it is. Wood has now bowled 2 overs, none for 10.
Yep, and Surrey just moving along here at the moment, going at 6.8 with a required rate of 7.9. I say that with confidence only because it's on the scoreboard away to our right-hand side.
Always
I'd
helps.
have absolutely no idea what it was otherwise. And this will be good. We get to watch Nathan Ellis from the hotel inn, because we're of course up on the big gantry, able to look straight down the ground. It's a spectacular view. It really is, with the woods away there in the distance. And then we've got the inflatable, well, you can apparently strap yourself to a harness and then run along and get... You'd be good at that. I'd like that, Jamo. Yeah, I'd really like to watch you do that. If we did that and then put the all-butter flapjacks just out of your reach, that would be fun afternoon's entertainment. Ellis then, final over of the power play, coming into Jamie Smith, and it's a slower ball first up, and Jamie Smith just tucks this into the leg side. There's Liam Dawson sliding round on the edge of the circle to do the fielding. Surrey pick up another single. They move on to 35 for 1.
Yeah, similar totals almost to the ball, really, because after 5 overs, Hampshire were 35 for 1. And here we are, 5 overs, 1 ball. Surrey 35 for 1.
Apologies, I was just looking at Duckworth-Lewis, 35. As over the wicket then comes Nathan Ellis to Laurie Evans, and that's down the leg side. This will be a wide signalled. That'll be 1 more to the total. Because the only reason I mention that is when this sun disappears, it might feel like a floodlit game of cricket, because the lights are on and there's no more blue sky coming. It's just that sort of dark bluish cloud from the New Forest, which is the most lovely part of the world. As Nathan Ellis, right arm over the wicket, he comes again, and that's going to be 4, because he's just drifting onto the hip of Laurie Evans, and any bat on that, or thigh guard, that's going to race off for 4, and he got bat on it, did Laurie Evans. Didn't get that one quite right, Nathan Ellis, and Laurie Evans picks up a boundary, and Surrey move on to 40 for 1.
Yeah, with the fine leg up, that's 2 straight, isn't it? Final on the 45's got absolutely no chance there.
I've heard this song before. I don't know why I've heard it. Oh,
did you not give your dad the Cornish pasty, or
kept
did you
the Cornish pasty for herself? As in over the wicket is Ellis, and this one opening the face is Laurie Evans. It's a good half stop there on the edge of the circle, and just a single for Laurie Evans. He'll move on to 13. Surrey move on to 41 for 1 in the 6th.
Oh, so you're taking it home to give
Oh, I see.
Is it supposed to be a surprise?
Is that what you've got him for Father's Day? A Cornish pasty? Oh, does he? Oh, lovely.
And it was going to be a surprise, and he's listening.
Yeah. You're getting a Cornish pasty. Sorry to ruin the surprise. It'll be cold by the time it gets to you, I can tell you that much, as this one's banged in by Nathan Ellis.
Oh, now that's harsh.
And wide's the signal. That is harsh, because we had a few of those in the Surrey.
Yeah, that's harsh.
And interestingly, when James Vince, early in his innings, every time there was a short one, he was looking at the square leg umpire straight away.
I mean, he's ducked low there, Smith.
He was giving it as no ball.
I think Vince wanted to have a chat with the umpire there and probably thought better of it as he walked towards him.
Well, I'm not surprised.
That's harsh.
Because that is harsh, because Surrey got away with a couple of those. Yeah. Now, this isn't a free hit, because it's not a footfall. 43 for 1. As in over the wicket then goes Ellis. Length delivery shot again from Jamie Smith. Just orthodox punch drive through extra cover for 4. And 47 for 1. Jamie Smith looking in good touch here. He's on to 20 off 60. I do apologise there, Emily. Emily's off now. She's off to get something else other than a Cornish pasty.
She's not going to commentate anymore now.
The shop will be open. I bet your dad would love a Hampshire cap.
Or one of those hairy yellow hats. You know, the hair sticks straight up. He'd love that.
I do apologise.
I know, I feel awful.
Mr. Windsor. I think she's gone to change the pasty. Can you take a pasty back? As in over the wicket comes Ellis, and this is clipped nicely again by Jamie Smith, and he'll pick up a single. Jamie Smith moves on to 21, And Surrey move on to 48 for 1.
Does a Cornish pasty trump a bar of chocolate?
Well, it depends what you like, doesn't it, really? I think I'd be fairly happy with a Cornish pasty if I got that for Father's Day. I don't know, I quite like a Cornish pasty. There's
other pasties available, of course, from other areas.
Are they?
They might be.
In Cornwall? I'm not sure they are.
Not in Cornwall.
As in over the wicket, once again comes Ellis. Ellis is punched by Laurie Evans down towards backward point. There's no run, end of the over. That's the power play done and dusted. So 41 was scored by Hampshire in the power play. 48 have been scored by Surrey. And Surrey 48 for 1, chasing 152 for victory.
Yeah, I think Nathan Ellis there is having a chat with umpire Billy Taylor there as Billy Taylor's walking backwards to his mark at a square leg. In fact, Nathan Ellis is still having a chat with him. I don't think it's anything untoward, but I think he just wants a few things ironed out there. I don't blame him either. I think I would have done. So 14 left, 104 needed. I'm sure there are other pasties you can buy in Cornwall. You can't just buy a Cornish pasty in Cornwall, surely, because that's a monopoly.
Sausage roll, that's not a pasty though, is it?
No, that's not a pasty. Liam Dawson is switching ends, 1 over, 1 for 5. He picked up the 1 wicket to date, that of Will Jacks, caught at backward a point by Mason Crane for 5. That was 5 for 1. So these two now put on 43, Laurie Evans and Will Smith. Just a little bit of momentum getting into this Surrey innings now, isn't it, really? I think Hampshire will just be getting a little bit anxious, don't want batters to settle too much. That was a feature of the Hampshire innings, really. Batters didn't really settle and get in. Dawson bowls, and that's a lovely shot over extra cover, and that is 4 runs. Quite deliberate shot there from Jamie Smith. Just opened the face on the front foot, just lifted it over Vince, who's at extra cover. That's how to play those shots.
It's one of his big strengths against spin, that shot, Jamie Smith. You see it so often in Championship cricket, just down the pitch, inside out, over extra cover.
Dawson round the wicket again. He's cutting in his edge. He has. He's out. Tried to give himself a little bit too much room. It was a quicker ball there from Liam Dawson. Smith goes for 25. Hampshire needed that. 52 for 2 now. Surrey needing exactly 100.
Yeah, good response from Liam Dawson there. Obviously quicker outside the off stump. I think Jamie Smith was in 2 minds whether to cut that or run it down. And I think it bounced on him. And he's looked in prime nick there, Jamie Smith, but gone for 25. And I think Surrey at the moment, be interested to see who comes in next for Surrey as well. I think it's Narine. So, yeah, Sunil Narine. This will be fun. He's making his way out. He had a look against Middlesex for about 2 balls, and then started smashing it to all parts. But this will be interesting here. But yeah, absolutely spot on, Mr. James, as always. From a Hampshire perspective, needed Jamie Smith there because he's the sort of lad who'll bat for 15 overs quite happily and be 70 not out, and that would be the game done. So yeah, good catch as well from McDermott.
And just to say that is Liam Dawson's 150th T20 wicket.
Well bowled, Liam Dawson.
Well applauded, yeah, Mr. Church. I'm still worried that we've ruined Emily Windsor's.
Where's it gone then? Really? Have you taken it back? The pasty?
I feel really bad.
Oh no.
What's that?
Oh, good. He's not listening. Excellent, we got away with it, Kevin James. Woohoo!
Well, we're right.
Excellent, good
We're
news.
in Emily's good books again.
Excellent,
that's
excellent.
I've still got to work with her the rest of the season.
I was going to offer to buy him a Cornish pasty myself to say sorry there for a sec, but he hasn't.
Turn up with 3.
He's probably just walked in now and heard that.
New batter as Narine, as Mark Church says, the left-hander, and he's cutting that one away on the offside. Doesn't time it. I do remember him at the Oval where he literally came in and just hit through the line of the ball every time.
That was 52 off 23 balls against Hampshire, and it was 51 off 29 balls against Middlesex on Friday night for Narine.
Striking at 173 per 100 this season, so that'll give you an idea of how many shots he plays. There's one of them, and that's hit hard, flat bat up towards mid-on, but there is a fielder there, so it's just a single. 53 for 2, 2 balls left of the 7th.
Yeah, there'll be occasions, obviously, where it doesn't come off for Narine, but it's worth the punt because, you know, if he does, he can destroy you. And as I say, he's a couple of times once against Hampshire where he's gone burlesque.
Yes. Laurie Evans back on strike, 13 off 13. So he's a nice shot there as he opens the face through the covers into the deep cover fielder area where Ross Whiteley picks up, and that'll be a single. 54 for 2. Evans a runner ball 14, brings Narine back on strike for the last ball of the 7th over, last ball of Dawson's second. He's over the wicket to the left-hander. I'm sure Narine is eyeing up that leg side field. Big gaps in front of square, although there is a mid-on sort of saving one. 3 fielders back on the rope away to our right as Dawson bowls. Narine tries to heave that away on the leg side. Is that a wide? It must have just flicked the pad. Well stopped Ben McDermott. That could have quite easily have been leg byes. So an over of which Liam Dawson picked up his 150th T20 wicket. 54 for 2 Surrey.
Yep. And picks up the wicket of Jamie Smith. But 150 T20 wickets is a good effort from Liam Dawson. It really is. And here comes another fine spinner in the shape of Mason Crane. It'll be fascinating to watch Narine play Crane. It really will. Yeah, he'll take him on. There's no doubt whatsoever about that.
I'm sure he will. I mean, a few people have this season. Unfortunately, he's going over 10 and over at the moment. Mason Crane.
He's just job.
In that. It is hard, and you've only got to get it slightly wrong.
Exactly. That's
you
the
go
thing.
for runs, and he has been doing. He's battling hard, that's for sure, this season. But his career in this is just over 7s. So that will give you an example. You know, to jump from 7s to suddenly be going at 10.5, not easy.
So Crane from the hotel end comes into Laurie Evans, who tucks him down the ground straight away. We're at the power play, so 5 back on the rope now for Hampshire. Evans moves on to 15, Surrey move on to 55 for 2, and the left-handed Narine comes on to strike. He'll take it on. He's going to be thinking nursery ground here. Sunil Narine. He's not afraid of taking the ball on. Sunil Narine as Mason Crane is in, and this one's down the leg side. Wide will be the signal. That'll be 1 more to the total.
So just to explain that you know, the economy rates and that, of course, if you've got 5 bowlers all going at 10 and over, then you're looking at 200 runs against you every single game. So you can't have too many in your side going at that many.
Crane is in once more. There he goes, straight to the nursery ground for 6. Exactly where we were thinking he'd go, and he has. And Narine, slog sweep, and it's massive from him. He does, if he middles it, it's that massive backlift, and then swings through it and away for 6, but exactly where he was going to target. And he's on to 7, and it's 62 for 2 as Crane's in again to Narine. Oh, he's bowled him, has he? No, he's had a swing outside that off stump again. It's beaten the edge. Nicely bowled from Mason Crane, that.
That's the googly.
Yeah, it was. Went the other way. Nicely bowled. McDermott didn't take it cleanly, but it's very nicely bowled, that. But again, he's not going to play anything else here.
It just pitched about an inch too far to the offside, otherwise that would have hit the top of off.
He's in again. Narine backs away and cuts. That's going to beat the diver backward point. Is it going to beat the sweeper? It is indeed. And it's this massive backlift. And then he just sort of comes down on top of the ball. Little Zorro-esque, really. And that flashes off down to the boundary rope. Narine's on to 11. Surrey 66 for 2.
You know, and this is the trouble when things aren't going your way. You know, already Crane's gone for 12 off 4 deliveries.
Waits again, does Narine. And that's wide outside the off stump. Bit of turn there. Nicely bowled again from Mason Crane. Quicker as well, left alone by Narine.
We haven't seen one turn as big as that, actually. But, you know, it doesn't matter who you're bowling at, isn't it? You cannot keep going for this many runs.
Over the wicket he comes again. And here he goes again, Narine. This will be out. Mason Crane's got him. Said he'd keep playing the shot. And he's just hit the man just inside the boundary rope at deep backward square. So he wasn't going to stop playing that way out, but I think it is who takes the catch. And it's 66 for 3. And Sunil Narine goes for 11, and that'll do Mason Crane good. Narine gone for 11, 66 for 3, sorry.
Yeah, that's a big wicket. Big wicket. Again, it's an effortless slog sweep. And the catch was taken right on the boundary. Did you say Albert? I wasn't quite sure. I thought it might have been Weatherly. Yeah, it is Weatherly.
It is Weatherly.
Yeah, called Joe Weatherly.
Didn't have to move, did he? Just on the rope.
Straight down his throat.
But that's the thing I love about Sunil Narine. He wasn't going to change anything. And he didn't get all of that one. And the catch taken. And here is Rory Burns for his first T20 knock of the summer. So Mason Crane has that wicket of Sunil Narine, who was looking dangerous, I think it's fair to say.
I think it's fair to say that, yes. Striking at nearly 140. And he was only out there, what, 8-9 balls? So that's a big wicket to get. He's a very, very dangerous player. And, you know, that will just... I mean, a few overs of him and the game's all over, isn't it? So, you're sort of almost bringing the game back to normality again, if you can ever say that T20 is normal. And the more you watch of it, you realise that it ain't. 66 for 3 then. It's it's Evans to face because the batters have crossed. Evans cuts that away. He's found the gap between two players on the 45 behind square, and he's got enough on it and he's taken it over the rope. Great placement there from Laurie Evans.
That is a naughty bit of batting from Laurie Evans. The placement there is exquisite from Laurie Evans. You always know the placement's good when both fielders almost fall over trying to get to it.
Is it your over, isn't it? Sorry, apologies.
Dawson, left arm round the wicket he comes again to Evans, who's turning this one down towards long on. They'll pick up a single, and that'll bring Rory Burns on to strike. One more to the total, 71 for 3.
Getting too excited here.
Do not fret,
because Narine's gone.
Do not fret, Mr. James. As Rory Burns, as I say, this is his first T20 knock of the summer. He's been in cracking form in the championship. Really good 100 against Somerset at Taunton this week in the championship. 71 for 3, so another 81 required by Surrey here on BBC Radio Solent, BBC Radio London, BBC Sport app, Hampshire live stream as well, of course. So it's Rory Burns, the left-hander. Quick survey of the field from him, and then Liam Dawson will come left arm over the wicket to Rory Burns. Burns backs away, cuts his first ball straight into extra cover. And the throw whipped back in. One bounce over the top of the stumps. Good bit of work there from Tom Prest. In there at extra cover. Hit pretty firmly that from Rory Burns. Settles himself over his bat once more. As over the wicket comes Dawson to him. Burns ships Dawson straight back over his head. Didn't get all of that, Rory Burns, but kept it straight back over the top of Dawson. Picks up a single to get himself up and running.
Interesting shot, that one.
Yeah.
It wasn't that far away, was it?
No. Liam Dawson, had it been Kieran Pollard, he'd have caught it. It would have been sort of in his midriff. As round the wicket goes Dawson to Evans. Evans punches off the back foot. There's James Vince to do the fielding. Just mentioning Pollard, he's still floating there in the, well, he's not actually floating, but he's sat down, but in the dugout. So it's always a good sort of safety ploy, that, having Mr. Pollard to come out. As Dawson round the wicket he comes again to Evans, and Evans forces out towards the sweeper on the cover boundary rope. They'll pick up another single. Good tidy over that from Liam Dawson. And 9 gone. So we're nearly at the halfway point, and Surrey are 73 for 3. I think Dawson there, I know he went the boundary off the first ball of the over, but I think it was just an exceptionally good bit of batting. And if you're Liam Dawson, you sort of say to yourself, well played. The rest of the over, very tidy.
Yep. Hampshire at this stage had 57, so Surrey are well ahead. The Ryan and Co in the middle overs were sort of strangling Hampshire's batting a little bit. But it's Mason Crane. First over went for 12, but he picked up Narine. Here he is with his second over. That's a leg cutter, which or a leg break, which he cuts and misses. Does Laurie Evans?
There's that bounce again, isn't it?
A bit, yeah. There is a bit of turn there.
Your ruler, Mr. James. That's big. Did you have that at school?
I may have done. I just found it somewhere about a year ago, and I keep it in my bag. I didn't realise I still had it up here. Here's Crane, gives himself some room, and he's hoiked that over mid-wicket. Then that's gone for 6. And that's too short from Mason Crane. Laurie Evans moves on to 27.
Yeah, just too short, and Laurie Evans has jumped all over that and swung it over the leg side. This is like the sort of ruler I had at school, wooden ruler. I haven't seen one of these in years, Kevin J.
Do you like it?
Oh, I love it. They don't make them like this anymore.
Fortunately. 79 for 3, 73 needed. Here's Crane, bowls to Evans. That's a better length, and it's swept but not timed by Evans, but he'll pick up a single nevertheless. Backward of square leg. Evans moves on to 28.
Shows how old it is. It's got tenths on the back.
Yeah.
16ths, those are handy, obviously. Everybody builds buildings with 16ths, don't they?
They
do. Can you tell us how many 16ths of foundation we need for our new house, please?
Shows how old I am.
And the angles as well there. It's great. Old school really ruler, this, yep.
See, if you hold it up in front of the play, you can work out what angle some of those shots are going.
It's rather good, this, isn't it?
Crane again to the left-hander Burns. There's a little bit of a googly there, but Burns plays it nicely up towards mid-on. They'll only pick up a single as Fuller comes quickly in. 81 for 3. Mark Church is paying more attention to the ruler than he is the game.
It's just that I haven't seen one like this for many years. Emily Windsor will have never seen a ruler like this. But 16ths. Handy measurement, that.
Oh, no. I was only talking to somebody the other day about 16ths. That's a cut away by Laurie Evans. It does come in handy. That's gone out to Nathan Ellis at deep point. 82 for 3, 70 needed. 1 ball left of the 10th.
Yeah. And again, Laurie Evans here, just playing nicely, isn't he? 29 off 23. He'll want to be the finisher here. Yeah. Laurie Evans. He won't want to see Karen Pollard or anybody else.
Crane bowls. There's a reverse sweep there, and it's gone up in the air, and it's one bounce down to short fine leg, and that'll be a single to Burns. You'll keep the strike. We are halfway through the Surrey innings, and they need 69 here. They've got 7 wickets in hand. Mark Church just making way for the next 5 overs or so, and Emily Windsor will come in alongside me. Southern Vipers batter and TMS, of course. Burns has 3, Evans has 29. All right.
How Churchy was looking at that ruler. It's like we had a big kid next to you there, Kev.
I know. I mean, it's a ruler to me.
Do they not use rulers in Surrey, or?
Obviously not. Obviously they've moved on. I just use them for straight lines. I mean, how silly of me to use a ruler to draw a straight line.
Is that even what they're for?
Oh, God, listen to you. Don't back him up. It's bad enough already the last over or so.
So James Fuller from the pavilion end will be bowling to the left-handed Rory Burns with his quirky stancy bowls. That's whipped into the leg side. They're going to run the first one hard, but just stick to a single. Burns moves to 4, 84 for 3. And interestingly, at that halfway stage, Hampshire was 64 for 4 and Surrey were 83 for 3. So at the moment they're ahead of this game. You sort of feel the only way Hampshire are going to win this is if they take wickets.
Yeah. It always felt a slightly below total, doesn't it? It certainly feels at the moment. Of course, lots can happen, but at the moment it does feel a bit light.
Fuller, the right arm pacement from the pavilion end bowls, and that's hit in the air, that's taken! There's the Fuller celebration, the first time we see it today, and James Vince takes the catch, the extra cover. We talked about wickets, Kev. That's a big one. Laurie Evans gone for 29 off 24 balls. Surrey 84 for 4.
Well, another dangerous player out the way as far as Hampshire are concerned. And yes, of course, every time there's a wicket taken, then the total doesn't look quite as light. But it only needs one sort of pairing to get going now, and that really will be put under severe pressure. But they are taking wickets regularly, a bit like Surrey did in the Hampshire innings. I'm surprised a little bit, I must admit, because yes, there's a bit of bounce and bit of pace in the wicket, but generally it's a good wicket, isn't it? But batters just haven't really got on top of things, and in fact that innings of 29 from Laurie Evans is one of the more substantial knocks we've seen in this game. It's still James Fuller with his 39 from 22 balls. A little cameo at the end is the highest score of the game so far.
But who comes to the crease? No little Kieran Pollard. That presence he has, he walks nice and slowly out to the middle. All the Hampshire players are there waiting. A tall, big stature. He takes the bail off the leg stump to mark his guard. A very unusual way, you don't see that often these days, Kev.
That's a throwback, isn't it, really?
On one knee, using his handle to knock it into the pitch. He's really going down the pitch as well and knocking it in. I can't imagine
I haven't seen that for a while. Have you ever seen that?
Not. I've seen it in the crease line, but not sort of down the pitch. But the groundsman are sort of square on, watching his antics. But he's batting out of his crease here to James Fuller. He's ready. He's in and bowls, and that's played into the offside. Vince dives, great stop. But they pick up a single. Pollard's off the mark. First ball, 85 for 4. Surrey
You know, sorry, we talk about players who have played a lot of cricket, you know, a lot of T20 cricket. This guy, Pollard is playing his 598th T20 this afternoon. That is a big amount.
That is a huge amount. So he's a man of much experience. I'm sure he's been in a situation like this before. Field changes to Rory Burns, all the fielders behind square out on the boundary as Fuller bowls, and that's a pulled, sort of half pulled that down to fine leg. McDermott, the keeper, does the fielding. He moves to 5 off 6, 86 for 4, 66 needed to win of 9.2 overs.
And the last time Pollard played on this ground was in the 2010 T20 final against Hampshire. Played for Somerset, and he didn't complete the game. Got hit on the head. Had to go off.
That's a good memory, that, Kev. Fuller in, bowls, and that's hit him on the pad. They're appealing, but he's a long way up the pitch, and Fuller mockingly pretends to underarm it back. But that's a dot ball. If Hampshire can build some dot ball pressures in T20 cricket, that brings you wickets. We often talk about 3 dot balls in a row. If you can build that pressure, the batters then have to do something different. They need to find a boundary. But Surrey right on top here. The only thing that's going to lose them the game is that wicket column. Yeah. 66 off 55 then, as Fuller into Pollard bowls. That's short, that's pulled up in the air, but lands safely inside the circle. Prest does the fielding.
Where's the square leg when you need one? Straight down his throat, that, wasn't it?
87 for 4 then, 9 overs remain. 64 to win, 54 balls.
Good over from Fuller, wicket in it, and just 4 runs completed. But you're right, Emily, the only way Hampshire are going to win this is by bowling Surrey out. They've got to pick up 6 wickets in the next 9 overs to win this game. Otherwise, Surrey, you feel, will get the 65 they need.
It's going to be a tough combination as well. Vince getting his bowlers right, how he's going to line them up. 3 of the 4 wickets have been taken differently from the Surrey, the Hampshire innings, have been the spinners. So Crane's picked up 1, Dawson's picked up 2, whereas in the Surrey attack, the pace bowlers looked more troubling. Obviously, the extra pace of Overton, Atkinson, and Jordan as well. Fantastic caught and bowled off his bowling.
Yeah, they got some real pace and bounce out of the wicket, didn't they? All hit the deck, don't they? Worrell, Overton, they all hit the deck hard. Now, this is a little bit of a gamble, but it may just come off as it did with Narine. Crane back into the attack. He's got a slip to Pollard. Bowls. Pollard gives himself some room. It's outside the off stump. That's not a wide. It looks a wide, but Pollard's well outside leg stump.
That's a good bit of batting, bowling as well from Crane there. Holding his nerve to just hang it out there outside the off stump, ignoring his movement. This is going to be an interesting battle, Kev.
It certainly is. Here's Crane again. Pollard misses, trying to hit that through the offside, but it turned away from him. The
other gamble with this as well is they've got slipping. Yeah. Vince is putting his eggs in the basket, saying, Liam Dawson, in you go. They know this wicket's important. They know wickets is what's going to win them the game.
Yeah. Well, Albert was caught at slip off the bowling on Narine. Now that's driven over extra cover for 6. That is a shot. My word, 1 foot down the track, hit through the line of the ball. That stayed here.
Churchy can't even watch that. He covered his eyes. That is a fantastic cricket shot. Just a full swing of the bat. And the power in his arms that does the rest. The fielder was there. You bowl to your field there, Mason Crane, but it doesn't matter where you bowl it if he clears the ropes like that.
93 for 4, 59 needed. Crane again to Pollard. That's a leg ball down the leg side. That's turned. They're appealing for a call behind, but I'm not sure Pollard's bat was anywhere near that.
Googly that one.
Wide. Huh?
Googly that one, wasn't it, from Crane?
Too straight, wasn't it? Pollard strikes at 150 per 100 here in his career. Pretty handy. Crane bowls, that's turned, and Pollard just eases that ball into the gap. They may pick up 2 here. He doesn't look the quickest between the wickets here, Pollard. I think he's going to be doing most of his scoring in boundaries. That looked a little laboured. It was an easy 2 in the end because Nathan Ellis had to run round to his left.
The thing is there, Kev, you say he looks slow, but the size of his strides, I reckon he does that wicket in about 3 strides.
Yeah, you might be right. Might be deceptive. Now, there's a hit in the air. This could be caught at deep mid-off, or is it going over Fuller's head? It is. Oh, I got a little bit excited there initially, but it stayed hit. and was over Fuller's head. It bounced about 4 or 5 yards behind him. That's the 100 up for Surrey in the 12th.
When you watch players bat like this, I think as a small, slight female, you're like, the amount of effort I'd have to put in to hit that ball. In fact, I don't think I could ever hit it that far, and he's pretty much done that with one hand.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys can't do that, to be fair. Last ball of this over, Pollard just guides that to a point, and that is the end of the over. So we've had 12 overs here at the Ageas, 102 for 4 Surrey. Pollard has 16 off 9, Burns has 5 off 6, and Surrey need 50 off the last 8 overs, and that run rate required is just over 6 and over, between 6 and 6.5, which is absolutely nothing.
Yeah, no, I think Surrey are right on top here. They'd really have to mess up as Churchy slyly's gone for a hand into the flapjacks.
I think me and Churchy between us have had about 10 times more than you have. You weren't taking that home to your dad as well, were you?
Well, he can't have any now, can he? You ruined the pasty and now the flapjacks. Won't come again. James Fuller into Rory Burns bowls, and that's played up to mid-on. They're going to come through for a quick single, shy at the stumps, but Rory Burns was home there anyway. Good bit of batting. 103 for 4. I feel like these two are going to complement each other nicely, you know. It's made Burns' job easier. He's just got to get Pollard straight on strike.
Yeah, it's actually right. It actually is the perfect combination from a Surrey point of view, isn't it? Get Pollard on strike as much as possible and let Pollard play. Especially
with Burns coming into the side, it's a nice roll, risk-free roll he's got to play at the moment. So, Paceman, Fuller into Pollard bowls, and that's a player miss outside the off stump. Great carry, great lift taken high over McDermott's right shoulder. That's what we saw from the Surrey bowlers. Yeah, and that's where we saw the Hampshire batters never fully in control when they were out there in the middle. They struggled with the bounce and the pace at times, but certainly the bounce. And there we saw Pollard, extravagant drive on the front foot. You're never going to, even for Pollard, you're never going to stroke that through the covers with the ball bouncing like that. 49 off 46 needed. As Pollard looks to that leg side boundary. Fuller in bowls, that's outside the off stump, that's hit in the air, fielders can't do anything. 4 runs, the ball just kept going there, the carry, the power from Pollard. 4 more to him, 20 off 11 deliveries, 107 for 4. Well, I mean, what he's good at, to be fair to him, is that anything he sees leave the hand that's slightly off line and length, he'll throw the bat at. It's a great eye, and that's why he's been so successful at this form of the cricket for so long. Played more by PL during the winter for the Mumbai Indians, or the spring. But you know, you can see there, as soon as the ball leaves Fuller's hand, you can see him winding up. But he's got a nice heavy bat in his hands as well. As Fuller in again, bowls outside the off stump, driven hard down the ground. That is a stroke and a half. 4 more runs to Pollard. He moves to 24 off 12. This is a fantastic knock, striking at 200, Kev. The magic strike rate. I know it is. I think they're going to have to rethink this field a little bit, because Pollard's hitting it nicely straight. Now there's a deep mid-off, and they bring the 3rd man up. Now what you don't want to do now is see Fuller bowl short. Yeah. Because the field's not set for that. Bowling full outside the off stump. This is the right field. Fielder's out in front of the bat, and we haven't seen that much today. As Fuller in bowls, that's down the leg side, taken well by McDermott. They're appealing. Just Fuller is appealing. It's not a wide, it must have hit pad. Yeah, I think it flicked off the pad, yeah. Just saw a little deviation through to the keeper. But, you know, it's difficult when you know players like this. I mean, Pollard has a huge reputation, doesn't he? He's been around for a long time. Difficult to bowl to these guys. 41 needed. That total's coming down pretty quick now. Certainly is. 43 balls to do it. Hampshire need a couple of breakthroughs quickly, and it'd be interesting who Vince throws the ball to. As Fuller in again, that's tucked away down to fine leg. Chris Wood, the left arm seamer, comes round. So single to end the over. That's 13 overs gone now. 112 for 4 at the same stage. Hampshire were 83 for 4. Yeah, I'm afraid it's not quite miles behind, but it's getting that way, isn't it? Still 6 wickets in hand for Surrey. And they're in control. and Surrey bat deep. I'm not looking at their batting lineup of what's to come. They've got Chris Jordan, a very experienced cricketer, more than capable with the bat. Jamie Overton, wow, he hits a long ball. Both of the Overton brothers do. They bat deep, Surrey.
You can see why they're top of the South Group, can't you? They've got it covered even with players missing.
And that's the bit for me that is, if you list the players that are missing, it's almost 5 or 6 players that would walk straight into this side. The depth in this Surrey squad is impeccable.
Nathan Ellis back into the attack, bowls to Pollard. Pollard flicks that away, and that's going to be 4 runs with the fielder Chris Wood up on the 45-yard circle, behind square on the leg side. That's a little bit too straight. Pollard just flicks that away easy, like swatting a fly.
Yeah, Surrey on a roll here. Pollard doing the job for his team in the middle order. 29 off 15 deliveries.
He's ruining the game already, isn't he? In 15 deliveries, he's ruining it.
You could say you're watching some fantastic batting there, Kev.
We are. Ruining it in a nice way. Here's Ellis, runs away from us, right arm over and bowls, length ball, and Pollard just pushes that on the onside where there's always a single. And that will bring Burns back on strike. That might just... I should think there's a good chance that it's just a run off this next ball. I don't think Burns is going to try and hit it out the ground, or, as we said earlier, just push it around and give the strike to Pollard. So I think Ellis can probably bank on a single this ball. 117 for 4.
A real lull in this crowd here. Their team at the Ageas Bowl are under pressure on the back foot. Something special needs to happen now. A bowler needs to step up or take that magic spell in order to change the game. But at the moment, Surrey in control.
Yeah, they are. So Burns on 6 off 7 as Ellis runs in. Fields a little bit more in for Burns, who tries to flick that away on the onside. Gets wrapped on the pad. Actually, there's a dot ball.
You called it wrong, Kev.
I did call it wrong.
You had
again.
one ball to call.
I know, it's sad, isn't it? Fortunately, I'm off shortly. And it'll be Mark Church and Emily Windsor to call the game home. Get me off. Some proper commentators on.
I'm just intrigued if he's going to fall in love with that ruler that's to the left of me again.
I'm going to hide it, actually, when I come off.
It's a bit too much of a distraction, wasn't it?
It is really, yeah. It's just a wooden ruler.
But it does have angles.
A bit like the thickness of bats in about the 50s. They used to be called rulers because they were literally very thin indeed. Here's Ellis bowls, and he's pulling that away on the onside. Rory Burns. They will run 1. They may look for 2. Burns thinks about it. Pollard, I think, he's quite happy to take the strike. The next ball. We are in over number 14. Surrey 117 for 4. Need just 34 now, and Pollard back on strike. 30 off 16. Making the game look easy.
Kev, before you go off there, obviously, I want to ask you, if Hampshire don't win this game, how is this going to affect them in the rest of their competition, do you think? Obviously, they talk about 5 from 5. You see the players buzzing about this momentum. Could it shift their momentum back?
Well, you'd hope not. Slower ball. Pollard guides that on the 45 on the offside. That's a good diving stop. Superb diving stop. They'll get a single, but that's stopped 4 runs.
Toby
That's Albert. Is that Albert? Yeah. Well, listen, I mean, look, 5 wins on the bounce. I think even if you start the competition with 5 wins on the bounce, let alone lose 4 and then get 5, I don't think it's the end of the world, do you?
No, I don't. And I think they're going to have to... You're going to lose games of T20 cricket because it is so... It depends. Like, one player can change a game. And that could be on your team, on the opposition. It was Vince on Friday night. Pollard's playing fantastically well tonight. Ellis
to the left-hander Burns, who opens the face of the bat and guides that down towards third man. It's gone quite quickly. They'll pick up 2, even though it's gone to Chris Wood's left hand. Nice shot there from Rory Burns to end that over from Ellis. 121 for 4, 6 left, 31 needed. Yeah, you're right. I mean, listen, this is a big week for Hampshire. You've got the top place side here today. You're then going to the 4th place side Gloucestershire on Friday, and before that on Thursday, the 2nd place side Somerset. So it's a big week. If you could actually come out of this week with 2 wins out of 3, I think you'd settle for that every day of the week, wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think from a dressing room point of view, it's how they respond, isn't it? Obviously, when you lose a game of cricket, it's never nice. You reflect on it as players, as a team. But they've got to hold on to what they've done so fantastically well these last 5 games. Yep. Obviously, there's a game still to be won here, 31 off 36. Liam Dawson comes back into the attack. But if it does go that way, it's going to show a lot of character about this team, the resilience, which they clearly have a lot of from losing 4 from 4 in the first 4 to then going 5 from 5.
Yeah, what it does do is it puts a bit of pressure on the rest of the week. There's no pressure on Surrey at the moment, unbeaten. And they already have a 3-point gap at the top, with games starting to run out in the group stages.
There's Liam Dawson in bowls. That's hit down the ground. That's hit hard. A fielder at long off comes round, does the fielding.
Makes it look easy, Pollard, doesn't he? Flat, straight shot, one bounce up towards mid-off.
Do you reckon that bat as well has a middle the whole way down? So I'm thinking how heavy he could have a bat. I reckon my middle is his toe. I'd actually quite like to see a Kieran Pollard back and even see if I can pick it up, to be honest with you.
Yeah, JCB to pick it up.
Liam Dawson changing his angle to the left-handed Rory Burns as he bowls. That's down the leg side. That's swept hard and fine. Mason Crane comes well round nicely at deep square leg. He picks up a single. Burns to 10 off 11. 1, 2, 3 for 4. 1, 2, 3. Never won a game.
I don't know. Where are Hampshire going to win this from here? Got to take a wicket or 2 now, haven't they? Pretty quick.
Dawson again settles. There's 2 mid-ons in place for Pollard, 1 in the ring and 1 out, and that's hit him on the pad. No run. If he got hold of that, that was definitely onto the nursery ground, onto our left.
What an amazing field, isn't it? Deep mid-wicket, deep wide mid-on, deep straight mid-on. Don't think I've seen that too often.
And a mid-on in the circle.
Yes, that's true.
Dawson then in again to Pollard. That's hit to one of the mid-ons. Well, the deep mid-wicket comes round and does the fielding. Pollard to 33. 1, 2, 4 for 4 Surrey. 28 then needed to win. 32 balls to do it in.
He's got fast bat speed, doesn't he, Pollard? He sort of stands there, waits for the ball, and then all of a sudden the bat's back and forward in no time.
Dawson to Burns. That's hit into the leg side. Vince does a fielding. Dot ball. Do you know what I love about him? It's just how chilled he looked. How chilled he's looked all day. Look at him at the non-strikers end there, hand on hip, almost sitting on his bat.
Sunday afternoon in the park.
Dawson into Burns. That's played back to him. 2 dot balls. That's a great over from Dawson. A great spell from him as well. 4 overs, 21 runs, 2 wickets. Holds his hand up again. We have a change in the commentary box. I've got to go to the home dressing room.
Yes, you have, yeah. You're banished to the home dressing room. Mark Church and Emily Windsor will call the game through to the end. So 28 to win, 5 overs remaining. And Pollard with 33 off 20 deliveries. And Rory Burns with 10 off 13. Look to be seeing Surrey home. Yes, Liam Dawson's figures announced to the crowd. Good figures from him. Here's Mark Church.
Well, for those of a certain age, you'll remember sort of those health and safety videos that used to be put out. When Kieran Pollard's like this, I think there should be one of those for the bowlers, because he's terrifying, absolutely terrifying when he's like this, Kieran Pollard. And Pollard is 33 not out, 124 for 4, so 5 remaining for Surrey. They need another 28. Fuller from the hotel end to bowl the 16th over to Pollard, and he's right up on his toes, and Pollard drives this one down the ground towards long off. They'll get a single, 1 more to the total, 125 for 4. Emily Windsor, you're young and cool, but it must be so much fun to be Kieran Pollard, because he just strolls around the place, doesn't he? Smashes it. I don't think I could pick his bat up, to be honest. I'm not very strong anyway, but honestly, it's ridiculous, this. I was just saying, the bowlers, he should come with a health warning for bowlers, as in over the wicket comes Fuller to Burns, and Burns slashes one down towards third. That's going to be 4. Rory Burns has done his job here, really, in giving Pollard the strike, but that one had a little bit of width on it, and Rory Burns has flung his hands through it, and Burns moves on to 14, and Surrey move on to 129 for 4 in the 16th. 23 more required by Surrey.
Yeah, I think he's just a player you'd be envious of, isn't it? He's just cool, calm, and I mean the experience he's got, the amount of games he's played. If you've played that many, I feel like you'd feel like that at the other end.
As in over the wicket once again comes Fuller. Slower ball. Rory Burns has drilled this one up and over the top of the covers, out towards the sweeper on the cover rope. They'll stroll a single as the throw comes in, one bounce over the top of the stumps. The one-handed six off Crane was quite frankly ridiculous in the fact that he completely mishit it. And it still went 15 feet over the top of Fuller, stood at long off. He completely mistimed it. I was watching from the side there, leant over the balcony. Made an awful sound off his bat and still went 15 foot over the top of the long off fielder. As Pollard on strike again here to Fuller. Oh, hello, he swung this one leg side. What a catch! James Weatherly, I think it is. What a grab that is. Out there at deep backward square. They needed something. They've got something, because I thought that was 6. From the minute he left his bat, but he sprinted round, flung himself to his right. Could that change the game? It shouldn't, but it's little moments like that that can change a game. But what an innings from Pollard. What a catch that is from Weatherly out there at deep backward square. And Pollard goes for 34.
Yeah, special catch that, Joe Weatherly. Enjoyed that one in front of the home crowd. But what I've just seen there, Churchy, is some of the players were dispersing, and Vince, the captain, called his players back in. I think he really wants his team to believe here that they can win this. A few wickets, it changes the game. And the other thing that excites me is Fuller still has 2 balls left of his spell, and time after time, Fuller's that person that holds his hand up. The game is still on. 22 is needed. Surrey are in the driving seat, but a few wickets can change this game. Jamie Overton comes to the crease. He hasn't got a lot to do.
Wonderful catch, that from Weatherly, because he had to sprint round to his right, and that was travelling, and dived and came up with the ball. So Jamie Overton out there in the middle. 130 for 5, Surrey. Fuller in the sunshine comes over the wicket to Overton, who's forward and tucks this one up towards mid-on. There is Liam Dawson. And it might be that Vince said what we were saying. That is a moment there. We needed a bit of inspiration from somewhere, and they got it from Weatherly. But that was a fun innings from Karen Pollard, wasn't it? 34.
It was fun, but it made me feel like a rubbish cricketer.
Well,
when you watch that, you just think,
there aren't many that can do that.
I can't hit it off the square.
Not mistime it for 6. As in over the wicket comes Fuller again to Overton, short, and Overton's pulling this, and he'll get a single out there to Ross Whiteley, who's at deep mid-wicket as the throw comes in. So Overton has 1, Burns has 15, Fuller finishes with 2 for 31. He's had a very good game as James Fuller. Surrey require 21 off 4 overs here on BBC Radio Solent, BBC Radio London and the Hampshire live stream.
Yeah, conversation in the middle as well. 4 players, 4 senior players deciding on who's going to take the ball. Liam Dawson, James Vince, Mason Crane was in there, and also Ben McDermott, the very experienced T20 player in Australia. And they've turned to Mason Crane, the leg spinner. You feel like this is do or die.
Yep. And he'd probably, in the back of his mind, be thinking, well, thank goodness I can't bowl because I'm the wicket keeper. So that's probably, he's probably that as well for McDermott. Jamie Overton's been in fairly good nick with the bat this season as well.
It was good to see when I went down to the ground at halfway. Overton was making sure he signed all the young people's scorecards, bats. Really engaging with the crowd as Mason Crane comes in from the pavilion end. Overton advances, he stumps! Is that the moment? Mason Crane floated it up outside the off stump. Jamie Overton tried to smash it out the ground, and Crane picks up a wicket. Was that a moment that changes it?
Well, if anything has changed this game, it's that catch from Weatherly. And that is a good bit of bowling from Mason Crane, because he tossed that one up there. It's brave. Really brave, because Jamie Overton's a big man as well and can hit the ball a long, long way, but he absolutely stuffed himself there. Tried desperately to get his bat back. I tell you what, Rory Burns becomes key here for Surrey. Cool, calm head, Rory Burns, and he's joined by his captain, Chris Jordan. But if they pull this off, Hampshire, then that catch from Weatherly, it just shows what one little moment can do, doesn't it? And as you say, James Vince, Emily, got his team together and Mason Crane's backed it up. It may have been McDermott there has told Crane what to bowl.
Yeah, I feel like Overton didn't need to do that, though, in my opinion. He's put Hampshire back into a potential opportunity to win. They need 21 off 23. The fielders are out. You can knock the ball about. Instead, they've got Hampshire excited. They've got the fans behind them as Crane in again. That's a player miss outside the off stump. It's created this moment. Joe Weatherly's catch, but as the next batter coming in, an experienced cricketer he is now, did he need to try and whack Crane out the ground?
I think it's his game. I think if he toss it up there to him, he's going to go.
Crane in again, bowls. That's played back to him. A wicket and 2 dots. The crowd are alive here at the Ageas Bowl. Still cloud cover overhead. Everyone's now back engrossed in the cricket.
This is good. This is good. This is the beauty of 2020, isn't it? You think you know what's happening, then the complete opposite happens.
Crane into Jordan again. That's cut, but only finds Dawson at backward point. 4 dots. The claps get louder each ball.
Yep, and fair play, Mason Crane.
21.
Come back from that
21 off 20.
pummeling from Pollard, hasn't he? Done it brilliantly so far.
Here we go. Crane from the pavilion end. Again to Jordan, that's worked into the leg side. They're running the first one hard. Crane's after it, they're not going to come to. He does a slide as well to stop it. Great bit of work off his own bowling. 20 off 19 balls.
Isn't cricket a funny thing? Because it's 20 off 19 balls. That's a runner ball, basically. But even the most experienced players in the world could get caught up in this. With the atmosphere now, you could get caught up in it, couldn't you?
Really, you feel Hampshire need the 4 wickets to win. But the last 2 overs. Weatherly with a spectacular catch. Crane picks up a wicket as he bowls again. That's down the leg side. Wide ball by the umpire. Church even gave that a wide up here from the commentary box.
Yeah, I think it didn't brush pad. And you can see what Mason Crane is thinking there. But I think you were always going to be giving that if you're umpire Wolf.
Last ball then, that's bowled, that's timed sweetly out to the mid-wicket boundary. But just 3 runs in the end off that over, and the wicket of Jamie Overton. His final figures, 4 overs for 39, 2 wickets again. Let's just listen, Churchy. Kev never sings it for me, but come on.
This is just, I'm not going to sing it, the crowd are. Here you go, everybody. Whack, whack. Marvellous, absolutely marvellous. Got to be timed though, hasn't it? It's got to be at the right time for the old T20. There's a bit of diamond. I was saying down in Taunton, Kev James might come with me. No one wants to go with me. There's a tribute to Neil Diamond at Taunton. 28th of July, I think, at the county ground.
Kev doesn't look
Stars of the West End stage. Singing it, he's not even looking at me. Everybody's giving me that reaction. No one wants to go with me to see it. So it's going to be Chris Wood from the Hotel Ed. He's just frankly ignoring me away to my right at the moment, isn't he?
It's the face of wonder,
it's the face of
it?
concentration. He's trying to pretend he's working out what's going on here, but he's just trying to ignore the fact that I want him to come with me to see tribute to Neil Diamond. All right, Neil, that's enough now. We've got a game to continue here. So it's Chris Wood down below us, and I think we're going to get another chorus. Rory Burns will be on strike. It's 18 off 18 balls for Surrey. It is a runner ball now, as Chris Wood comes in left arm over the wicket to Rory Burns, and Burns opens the face, just guides this, nudges it down towards third. They'll pick up a single. That'll be 1 more to the total, and Surrey won 35 for 6, 17 required off 17 balls.
Cool.
Tie, anyone? Anybody fancy a tie? It's got that feeling to it. It's got that feeling to it, this game.
I feel like cool, calm and collected Rory Burns is in the hot seat here. While he's here, I feel like the game's in Surrey's hands.
Well, Chris Jordan, of course, very experienced as well.
Interestingly, Jordan's changed his spikes. They were definitely orange when he was bowling, and I see a blue vibe out there.
Maybe they're his batting shoes. You have different ones these days, don't you? As in over the wicket comes Chris Wood to Jordan, who's pulling. out towards deep mid-wicket, just a single. One more to the total. Mr. Kevin James is scoring away to my right-hand side now, 136 for 6.
And Churchill, I was speaking to Kev, and we were talking about if Hampshire were to lose this game, they were on this run 5
I heard you going with that early.
I just needed Kev's opinion before the end of the game, but I think Hampshire have a lot of positives to take, just how deep they've taken this game from the position that Surrey were in.
Wood is into Rory Burns, and it's a short one now. Burns will look across the square leg umpire, and nothing given. Rory Burns just looking to hook that. Anything on that would have probably flown away down to the boundary rope, but it's a dot ball, and it means that runs get above number of balls remaining. 16 off 15 now.
But yeah, you just sort of feel whatever way this result goes now, Hampshire have to take positives from top of the table. Surrey, who haven't lost, they didn't get as many runs as they could. They've taken this game deep.
Left arm round the wicket to Burns is Wood, and Burns just nudges into the offside. Good running from Rory Burns and Chris Jordan. One more to the total. Burns on to 18, 137 for 6. And 15 more required by Surrey. 14 balls remaining. When Pollard was out there, it looked like we could be going home early. But then Weatherly with that stunning catch at deep backward square, and then Overton stumped off Mason Crane for 1. Chris Jordan waits as Wood is over the wicket to him, and Jordan whips this one off his toes into the leg side. Should just be a single, will be a single as Whiteley does the fielding. Gets the throw in, one bounce over the top of the stumps. Every single or dot ball getting a standing ovation at the moment.
And the work off the ball as well from Hampshire here. The ball went out to one side, but the other side, fielders on the ring are coming in, making sure they're backing up. They're doing the basics well. This game is going to go to the wire, that's for sure.
I may not need another flapjack at the end of this over. It's all getting a bit much for me, this. 138 for 6. Great game. Interesting, isn't it, on this pitch as well? How apart from Pollard, really, he's muscled it out the ground. Everyone else has found it quite hard work as Wood is into Burns, and Burns opens the face, knocks this one out towards Whiteley, sweeping on that cover point boundary rope. It's a good over from Wood. 18 gone then here on BBC Radio Solent, BBC Radio London. 139 for 6 Surrey, their target 152. So it's 13 required. Emily Windsor off 12 balls.
Now's the time, Nathan Ellis. The overseas, what they're paid to come over here for in a moment like this. Can he have a special over here for Hampshire? 2 overs remain.
J-Mo's gone in for another flapjack. That's the pressure, you see. Did you want to take some of these home with you tonight, Emily Windsor? Because there's not many left.
I'm going to have to give them to J-Mo to take home after his performance today.
Yeah, he's had a few of those, hasn't he? But no, yeah, Nathan Ellis here. Bit of pressure. What you want to do always, I think, with this 19th over is leave something for the last over. Take it into the last over. Leave it. Whoever's bowling that last over needs something to defend.
13 off 12 then. Nathan Ellis gathers his hands together in a Bumrah-style run-up. Approaches to Rory Burns, bowls, that's hit him, they're appealing, and they come through for a single. Ellis on one knee there. Be a leg by from the umpire, but 12 from 11. You felt like Ellis should have got the ball then.
Well, yes, Ellis on one knee. Rory Burns was on one knee there as well, wasn't he? Trying to sweep that.
Double proposal going on.
Oh, lovely. Well, no kiss cam here, thank goodness. Otherwise,
there has been previously. Don't tweet too soon, Churchy.
No, I don't like that at all. It's not my cup of tea, that.
So, fielders out in front of the bat then for Nathan Ellis. 3 on the leg side, 2 on the offside. Other fielders sitting on the ring as he comes into Jordan bowls. That's chipped up in the air, up towards long off. Pick up a single.
I'll say it again. Anybody fancy a tie this afternoon?
11 off 10.
Just got that feeling on it, this. It really has.
The crowd in apprehension here, eyes on the game. It really has been a fantastic watch on a Sunday afternoon. Father's Day. The dads are in for a treat.
Well, your dad is.
Well, you ruined it.
He wasn't listening.
Ellis into Burns. That's hit him on the shoulder. They're going to come through for a quick single. So it'll be leg by signalled again, even though it was off his shoulder, but a good bumper from Ellis.
Yeah, I think
and they call the physio on, even though it hit the shoulder.
Maybe it went shoulder and up into helmet, so now it has to, this will add to the tension a bit. Little bit of, what's my name, where are you? What day of the week is it?
What's
for
the
Rory
score?
Burns, what's the score?
I asked our physio actually what she'd ask us in this situation, because touch wood, I haven't been hit on the head and I don't want to be, but she was like, I'd just ask the game situation. I was like, I'd just turn to the scoreboard.
Yeah, well, there is that as well.
But she said that's a good sign that I was able to orientate myself to the scoreboard. But yeah, Rory Burns doesn't look pleased to be chatting to the his physio, but the physio always likes a moment.
Oh, Paul Steele's a lovely young man as well, very fine physio, and probably just wandered out there for a bit of a chat, I would have thought, but I think Rory Burns is fine. He sort of signalled to the umpire that it hit me on the chest, but umpires got to do everything in their powers, obviously.
Ellis then nearly ran in, but Jordan sent him back, but he's in this time. A little scurry, hands together, ups the speed of his run up into Jordan, bowls. That's hit him on the pads again. They're going to come through for a quick single. I think he just took the pace off the ball that time, Churchy.
Yep, good bowling, wasn't it? Again from Nathan Ellis.
9 off 8 deliveries.
Huge couple of deliveries, this. Huge couple of deliveries, because if Surrey could find a boundary from somewhere, then, yeah, it'd be in Surrey's hands. Anything, dot ball, single, 8 off the last, any wicket, then I think it's anybody's game, this.
Here we go then. Ellis, Ringfield on the offside. He bowls, and that's a heave into the leg side. They're going to run this first one hard. The fielders are coming in. Just stays a single.
Good bowling from Ellis. Really good bowling.
8 off 7. Where's your money, Churchy?
Tie. Not that I've got much money, but I've just got, it's got that feeling to it.
We could sell the guitar.
No, that would not go down very well, but just for me, this has all the makings of a tie.
Kevin, he's still pondering his notes. Can't watch. But those in the crowd are watching as Ellis bowls. Huge ball, that's pulled, that's 6 runs. Chris Jordan, one of the best T20 players in the world. And he's shown why. Ellis, hands on head. That's Surrey's 150 up. 2 needed off the last over. And he's gutted there, that's for sure. He went for a bumper.
Well, that's a huge delivery, isn't it? It's a cracking shot from Chris Jordan. But Nathan Ellis has got that slightly wrong. And Chris Jordan is good enough to absolutely nail that pull shot. And that soared away for 6. And, well, that changes everything. 2 off the last over now. Game's in Surrey's hands. Hat-trick would be back on for that, wouldn't we? But I just think there, that again is that whole experience. Of course, he's played franchise cricket as well as Nathan Ellis, but Chris Jordan's been playing for so many years now. There was no panic there at all. And Ellis didn't get it that wrong. He just missed it by a touch, didn't he? And he was trying to get it up above, shoulder height again, and it was sort of just at about chest height, and Jordan's good enough to see it early and then pull it away for 6. So Surrey need just the 2 now. 150 for 6. They've got 3 men back on that leg side boundary rope. I feel for Nathan Ellis there, because he's bowled pretty well today, but the only ball he's going to remember is that one. He's still got his hands on his head at deep mid-wicket at the moment. Chris Wood then coming into Rory Burns, and he'll just tuck this off his hip. And that means the scores are tied with 5 balls to go. 151 for 6. It's been a terrific game. It really has. And it's been an interesting game in the fact that nobody's really got to grips with this pitch, have they? The strength of Kieran Pollard did for a while there, but elsewhere, the bowlers have been in the game throughout this. We haven't had an individual 50 in the game. We haven't had a big partnership anywhere, really. And I think the crowd are sort of making their way off now, but it's been a good game. all the field are up bar one now, out at deep mid-wicket. Here is Wood, one needed to Chris Jordan. It's down the leg side, it's a wide, and that will be the game for Surrey. And it's a bit of an anticlimactic end with a wide down the leg side. And officially Surrey will win that with 5 balls to spare, of course. And it is a 4-wicket win for Surrey, and they continue this extraordinary run in the competition. And Chris Jordan and James Vince out there having a chat about something, but Surrey with the win. And it was all very tense, but we said you've got to try and leave something to defend in the last over. And Nathan Ellis, as I say, just missed the last ball of his spell by an inch, and Chris Jordan good enough just to swing it over the leg side for 6. Rory Burns, good innings that, 21 off 24, very good innings that from Rory Burns. Jordan finishes 10 not out, and Surrey have beaten the Hampshire Hawks by 4 wickets, Emily.
Yeah, what a game. I think it sort of had ebbs and flows in both teams' favour, and as we said earlier, no one really got to grips with this pitch, and the bowlers, credit to them, the pace that we saw from that Surrey attack. Overton obviously about to go and join up in the test at Headingley, but the pace he showed, Atkinson as well, Gus Atkinson really impressed me. But hands on heads as the Hampshire players walk off this field. James Fuller was probably the most impressive with the bat for Hampshire, 39 off 22 again. He holds his hands up for Hampshire so often this season. But Surrey have won by 4 wickets here at the Ageas Bowl. It's been a belter of a game, good crowd in, who watch some fantastic cricket, but Surrey are going to stay top of the table. Churchy, they must be nearly points, must have enough points nearly to qualify.
Well, that'll put Surrey on to 17 points now. So Surrey move on to 17 points. Hampshire stay on 10. I think they're nearly there, actually. I think when you look at the rest of the table. But I think what Surrey will be pleased about here is that they've got themselves over the line. That could have all gone wrong. At one point there, I was saying tie. That could have all gone wrong. But I'll go back to that experience. That these guys like Chris Jordan have got so much experience. You know, Chris Jordan would have been in 30, 40 games like that over his career, where it's come down to that. And to pick his moment, and as I say, for Ellis, he only missed it by an inch, but he was trying to get it up around shoulder high, that short ball, and as it was chest high, and Jordan swings it away over deep backward square for 6. And it's not just that ball, of course, but that's the one that everybody will remember. And the other thing I think there, Kieran Pollard just walked out, cool, calm, collected, and muscled it for 34 off 22 deliveries. And that in many ways was the difference, wasn't it? There's just the strength of Pollard to come in at that point, just after Evans had gone. Laurie Evans, I thought, would be the one to take them over the line. That's his role. He goes, Pollard walks out, just muscles his way to 34. And then Chris Jordan, the captain, just when it was required, hits the 6, and Surrey win with 5 balls to spare.
Yeah, from a Hampshire perspective, though, they've got to take the positives from that. They took it deep, they didn't put enough runs on the board, but they made Surrey, the top of the table team, work really hard for those runs. So credit to Hampshire then. Surrey win by 4 wickets. Thank you to our listeners on BBC Online, BBC Radio Solent, who watched us on the live picture feed, but I'll hand you back to Adam Blackmore now at BBC Radio Solent.